Hey, welcome to group chat. We're back. It's snowing almost, kind of.
It's raining. They said it was snow. My fucking phone said 100% snow, and it's raining.
Fake news. This is why we can't trust the press, as Clint Eastwood is trying to tell us.
The liberal press only. Only the press that tells us bad things about people who we don't like. If they say good things about people we hate, it's all true.
I love that. Yeah, I love that Richard Jewell movie is coming out. You hear about you know this movie?
No. What's that about?
Well, Clint Eastwood is like Mr. Jewell is this guy who's like falsely accused of a bombing. Basically, he's just like this big fat guy.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought he was the guy who won the first Survivor. But yeah, Richard Jewell, who's played by the guy who played, I believe his name was Sean Eckert in the Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding movie.
Oh, I never saw that actually.
That's a great movie, Tanya.
Yeah,
with Margot Robbie.
Yeah, I need to watch
Harding.
that. Yeah,
he plays the very mentally ill guy who broke Nancy Kerrigan's knee.
Oh hell yeah!
Hit her in the knee.
Yeah,
and he's so perfect for this.
Great
for this part of just like this easily confused fatso,
just a hapless
who just stumbled upon a bomb like a hero and just had his life ruined by cops who were like, I don't want to find someone else.
Yeah, we wrapped this up. He looks like he'd definitely drop a bomb. Yeah, just like a hapless. He's just like the go-to hapless fat man in history.
They were just like, look, he says he found the bomb on the ground. Did you see how fat he is? He can't see the ground. He did it.
His history and pants are full of holes. Or his story, you know.
He says he bent over to pick it up. It's all nonsense.
This guy can't bend over. He can't even see his own penis. You think he's gonna see a bomb? I'm here with Dave Sirus, the great New York native.
Yeah. I grew up over here.
Can you talk a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, I grew up over here before going to L.A. for a while, then coming back when I finally got a real job.
Hell yeah, dude. What was the job?
SNL.
Oh, that is a real job.
Yeah, writing there.
I would have been impressed if you were like, Wendy's.
I would kill to write Wendy's Twitter.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Would actually have a great Twitter person somehow.
I know. It's actually Wendy. She runs it. I was reading a Vulture history of brand memes, and it made me want to kill myself because I've worked in social media.
Yeah.
And they're always like, tweet like you're like the hot thing now. It's like tweet like you're a real person. It's like I kind of miss just corporations just owning that they're like faceless like shell. You know what I mean? Like
I had that job once. I was tweeting for a company, Speedweed.
Oh, Speedweed.
Yeah, and
used to sponsor roast battles in LA.
Yeah. I used to work for them before that even. Just like actually making like funny Twitter, and they eventually replaced it with just like a generic like thanks for liking weed. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because they always like they like a lot of like marketing guys like we don't want to be salesy. We like want to be like you know talk like you're a person or whatever. But then it's just like. And then it's just like, what the fuck? We're not selling anything. It's like, yeah, because you fucking whatever.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The only time Wendy's is like popular at Twitter is when they're like running down Taco Bell. Like people only enjoy it when Wendy's is inappropriately cruel.
Yeah. Well, people love beef.
Yeah. There you go. And they got the realest beef.
Yeah.
Like I remember when somebody was like calling them liars for saying we never freeze our meat. And it was like I'm glad that they're willing to just be like, so you forgot the refrigerators existed for a second, huh? Like what you should be able to ridicule because we do have an epidemic in this country of stupid people who think they're geniuses.
100%.
And we really need to bring back the world where they are afraid to talk.
Yes,
just a little bit because we have a big problem with that kind of dumb people. Yeah, sorry.
Oh no
like
problem.
This.
No, I'm experimenting with video, so it's like
I don't want to.
It's all learning. Yeah.
It's best.
See how hard that was for me? That was so hard.
Yeah, I like to lie sideways.
No, this is great.
Like
I wish more people would take a load off on the bed because it's like it's a bed, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to sit without a back.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know, I work too hard.
Yeah.
To do that with my life, I want to look like like I'm in Jurassic Park and I'm the math doctor.
Yeah. No, but you're right though that like these brands fighting, like Popeyes got the word out about their chicken sandwich so fucking much just because they like beefed with Chick-fil-A. People love fights. Like people just like fucking love that shit. It's so funny.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Popeyes and Chick-fil-A, they both fight over that same anti-gay market.
Yeah.
So yeah, people loved it. People loved like Wendy's just like talking shit. And by the way, I had that Popeye's chicken sandwich. I don't know, maybe I got the wrong one. It had nothing on it.
Oh, really?
But I mean,
oh, they fucked up. I had it. It was
yeah.
good.
Okay, yeah. I think it was, because I'm white. I think they were just resenting that I was
that's
there.
what you meant by anti-gay market.
Yes. No, it was, I just wanted to try it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not that invested in chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean, I had a really good one, but it was just like because they clearly just lathered everything in butter. You know what I mean? Like anything's gonna be good if you do that.
Yeah, it helps. It
Yeah.
helps. It's like when people talk about, the Colonel's always talking about his secret recipe. Like
Yeah.
it's not just butter and salt.
Yeah, I don't think there weren't that many secrets in the 20s. Maybe that was a secret till like 1930, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
At the time, it was people were like, "Hey, this is something.
This is amazing. Oh, wow, what's this? This must be a secret. It's so good.
He's the first person to think of adding pepper to chicken skin. I mean, wasn't that impressive?
Yeah. So, Dave, you're Twitter verified.
Yeah, that's right.
How'd you get that?
Being Twitter verified is so easy.
Really?
Yeah, like they just give it away. There are people with like under 1,000 followers and are verified. It's kind of offensive.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember when I got verified. It was like so long ago that it was like not fair.
Yeah.
I think I got it just from my YouTube hits.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, because you had like Dave is a very funny comic who had like a Westboro Baptist Church character, right?
Well, what I had was like I did a bunch of on-the-street interviews as this reporter, and then I started focusing on Westboro and other hate groups.
Right.
Because the videos would just be so much more fun. Because it was like I would fuck with people on the street, but then I was like, wait, if I fuck with hate groups, this is actually then it really found my wheelhouse. Like,
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, this is what I'm best at. I am best at keeping a straight face.
Yeah.
And making fun of these people to their face until hopefully they get bored with their protest. But yeah. So I had a lot of like viral videos with that. And I think I just got verified just from like being,
Oh, this guy's somebody. That's
kind
like
of popular on YouTube is enough.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, have you seen The Masked Singer? I only watched it because I wrote jokes for one of the episodes.
Oh, sick.
Because Triumph the dog was a guest judge.
Yeah.
So I write for Triumph.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
We collaborate on like jokes for him, and I found out that like one of the like masked celebrity singers was a YouTube personality, which I thought was like against the law.
Yeah.
To be like a YouTube personality on network TV as a celebrity,
Mm-hmm.
like I was offended on.
Yeah, you were like, "Where's my fucking?"
As both
How did I not
TV
translate?
and YouTube, I'm offended.
Yeah.
No, I would be offended if I did translate. I would be offended if they were like, "Do you want to be on a sitcom?"
But that's what networks are doing now because they're just like such a crapshoot. They're just like, let's just put YouTube people on TV now,
Yeah.
Like Lily Singh was like just a big YouTube person.
yeah, and now she's doing something.
Yeah.
right?
She's doing a show no one really watches.
Yeah, those things don't tend to translate perfectly. I mean, you remember Smosh?
Yes.
How
I
huge
auditioned
they
for a
were.
Smosh movie.
Wow. Okay, I can tell you.
I thought I crushed that audition so hard, didn't even get a call back.
All right, I'm gonna. Okay, how do I say this without maybe doing something I'm not supposed to say? I was once in a room full of professional comedians in a work environment where we decided to put on the Smosh movie just to hate it.
Fuck yes.
We had a few hours to kill.
Yeah, they
and
suck.
We put on the Smosh movie and were flabbergasted by how shitty this movie was.
Of course.
And these are people who can appreciate dumb comedy,
Mm-hmm.
but that movie was so offensively unfunny.
What was it like? Like, what was so bad? Like, do you remember anything?
Okay,
bad
I
about
remember
it?
the very last joke of this movie, the finale of this movie. That one of the characters, I don't know the Smosh guy's names. I'll just say so that everyone knows who I'm talking about. The ugly one. The ugly one had a girl that he was in love with, who I think might have been played by some other YouTube woman. And the very, very last line of the movie, so he's like, he finally gets this girl he's wanted this whole time, and he says, by the way, I never got your name. She goes, this is a very pretty girl, says, it's Frank. And he goes, what the fuck? Credits.
Oh my God.
The
Gross.
hackiest joke from like 30 years ago, the hackiest joke.
Yeah.
To do that in 2016 is confusing.
100%.
Like,
Well, they're like random humor from like when I was in middle school. Like when I auditioned, it was all like, "Where's the banana hat?" It was just like all that. It's like it's for people whose brains aren't developed yet, like that kind
right,
of
it's
comedy.
for below average.
But then like these
prepubescents.
executives are like, oh my god, TV, all these hits on YouTube where they want like Gen Z and below dollars, and they're just like, oh, we got to get YouTube. Let's get these shitty things that like aren't gonna hold up in 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's God, I just hate the fact that I'm being filmed curled up on your bed.
Oh, no problem.
Because my shoulder had a thing, so like there's certain positions I don't want to be in right now.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I was just from like it's a thing from working out.
Got it. Oh, you're working out these days?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm failing.
Getting buff? No, dude. You're
I'm
cut.
I'm a
What are you doing?
golden
What's your
god.
reg?
I don't know. I do the same thing I was doing when I was 12. Just doing a couple just muscles and little running and stuff.
Hell yeah, dude.
Though I do tend to like try not to do cardio without like work.
Yeah.
I'll just go for like a 5 mile like quick walk while trying to write stuff I have to do.
Yeah.
Just to try to like multitask.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I just ran a turkey trot. Thank you.
Now, what is that?
It's a 5K. But it was really cold and rainy, and I felt good about myself. But what's funny about like I was really fat growing up, and I like just started working out and running like in the last 4 or 5 years. And so like I had like 2 good years where I could exercise and feel fine, and now I'm just like getting injured and my leg hurts, and it's just like so I just associate exercising with just like my body feeling bad, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, well there's that crazy thing like the first time you do a new exercise and your body is just broken.
Yeah.
And like it really feels like you'll never be able to do it.
Yeah.
Like lately I've been we've been playing with the Oculus.
Yeah, dude, I have one.
You got the Oculus?
Yeah, the damn Oculus Go, baby.
Yeah, I got the.
Me and my friends beta tested it, and it was a disaster, but we got to keep it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was doing the Oculus boxing, which
sick.
is like an amazing workout, and then you're just like, wow, I am broken inside and out.
Yeah, dude. Oh fuck, getting older sucks. But actually, this is kind of funny. So me and my friend signed up for the Oculus like beta test through Facebook or whatever. And by the beginning, like they were so hype on us. They're like, "You guys are great candidates." By the end, they hated us so goddamn much. They were like, "Get the fuck out of here."
What did you do?
I just like turned in assignments like an hour before they were due. I mean, because it was just like. And like we like fucked around a lot on the we clearly like just didn't do what we just couldn't figure anything out and kept writing them like how do you do this? We don't know how to do this.
Sometimes video games are just impossible to get past like certain
I know
spots and they don't think about that.
Yeah, it's tough. That's the problem with a lot of games. I get stuck at one place and then I just like give up on the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I would do a lot. You like spend a lot of the game. You're like, I'm not leaving this goddamn room.
Yeah,
this is impossible.
That's why I think I've never finished a Zelda game because I always get stuck somewhere and I'm just done.
I wasn't allowed to play Zelda because the name was too Jewish.
Really?
No, I'm a Jew. But,
oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
The chosen people.
It's all right. Yeah,
Your voice isn't Jewish enough. That's the problem.
Yeah. Jews have really lost the Yiddish accent, which is very sad. You would hope it would carry through.
It was Paul Newman, man. He was too cool. He brought the Jews over.
Yeah. I mean, Jews. It is sad just because we do sound hilarious.
Yeah.
It's one of our best features.
Yeah.
Is that we have one of the funniest voices in modern times.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to mention this. When we just mentioned, I thought about this. I think I actually saw one of your Brickstone videos before I met you.
Oh, cool.
I didn't even realize it. I like talked to you a few times, and then I saw that you were that guy, and I was like, holy shit! I remember those videos.
It is funny how often people I know say that, and that like they don't connect that I'm that. Which I find that it's funny that like because I guess it's not just a video. Like you see so many, it makes sense. But it is funny how like I know a lot of people who will like years after they know me be like, oh, you know what? I saw your video before we met, and I'm like. Am I that different?
Yeah, well, I think you just don't like. I didn't realize. You just don't connect the dots if you're like playing a character.
Yeah,
especially.
I mean, it makes sense.
I didn't realize Ari Shafir was like the amazing racist until like 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of where he started. Right?
Yeah, that was like a big thing, and then he didn't get anything from that weirdly. And then, like, I mean, it's kind of tough to translate.
I didn't get much out of Brickstone either, weirdly enough. Like, I had, like, talks to maybe get TV shows and stuff, and nothing ever really materialized.
When did those videos hit? Was that, like, the aughts?
2010.
Okay.
2010 to, like, 2015 is when I did them.
Oh,
and then I stopped when I got SNL, and I still have people asking me to do more, and I'm like, I work all the time now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working.
You're like a working writer.
Well, yeah, and it's especially writing for Triumph. I can't write for myself and Triumph at the same time because it's the same jokes.
Right.
It's the same jokes I'd be doing, and Triumph is like a very all-encompassing. That's aside from like the bigger work in terms of like time wise that like I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of hard. It takes a lot of work to do one of those Brickstone videos.
Yeah, definitely.
You have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Where this is happening, and it's also harder to get a hold of Westboro now.
Yeah.
And no one cares about them anymore.
Yeah.
So like, I don't want to do Westboro videos anymore.
Yeah, they're kind of like out
it's
of the,
good. They're
yeah.
nobodies now.
Yeah. You don't
It's
need
exactly
to
what
stick it to them.
It's what we wanted. They're no longer relevant. On one, if you look at it in one way, Westboro is no longer really relevant to America. Or if you look at it another way, they're now 40% of America. Depends how you look at it.
Right, they've like kind of tricked that. That ethos has become more mainstream.
It's very hard to, in the sense that it's very hard to tell the difference between Trump fans and Westboro Baptist Church people.
Mm-hmm.
They act and speak identically.
Right.
Not what they say, but the way that they come to conclusions, their ideology, the way that they gleefully just kind of say things that are ridiculous and feel protected by the confidence behind it, even though it's bullshit.
Right. I've never talked to a Westboro. They were kind of more extreme, even more extreme than like Trump people, though, right?
Well, of course they are. I'm saying, but at the same time, like one of the people I interviewed a lot, a huge Westboro supporter, was Ruben Israel.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy called the Real Street Preachers, who were the guys at the gay pride parades that I did every year in L.A., who would always have the anti-gay signs, and now he is a huge Trump supporter.
Uh-huh.
So there is a lot of dovetailing.
Right.
There's a lot of people who I think that the kind of people who would gravitate toward Westboro 5 years ago are now the diehard Trump supporters.
Right, they're the base a little bit.
It's the people who are they just hate the world,
right,
and they want to lash out at it.
Sure,
and they're not like the most sophisticated people ideologically. They just want something that's going to piss off all the people that they think they're better than them.
Yeah, Westboro did seem like kind of trolling, like a lot of like there's a troll element to it, right?
Yeah,
like going to like military funerals. It's like you're gonna even piss off the right wing with that.
Yeah, like they're not doing it like this is a somber responsibility that I have from God that I have to warn you about this. They're entirely doing it like, ha ha, can't touch me, you're a bitch. That's the same kind of mentality. I think it's an undercurrent of like the worst kind of instinct that people have.
Sure.
And if you give them an opportunity to feel like there's someone else who says it's okay, they will indulge in this behavior that the rest of society says is disgusting.
Did you meet anyone at the Westboro church that you liked, or you thought like, you just are in a bad situation, or you've been brainwashed?
Oh no, there were definitely
like
younger ones who I could absolutely get the impression didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Or that they were trying to be rational people and make this make sense, and those are the ones who quit. Like Megan Phelps, I spoke to her many times.
Oh no way!
Many times.
I didn't know she quit.
Yeah, she quit. She married some, I think, like, I want to say.
Please say black guy. Please say black guy.
I want to say either Jewish but like nice Christian. I think he's a Christian, but like a very like someone who, unlike me, was only trying to convince her with kindness. I wasn't trying to convince them.
No,
of
you were
anything.
trying to. Yeah.
I was trying to entertain everyone who hates them.
Yeah.
And it's funny. She's been asked about me, and she was like, "We're not friends."
Oh, that's nice.
Like everyone I interviewed doesn't love me because I did, openly try to humiliate them in public, but they all kind of get it now. But then there are other members who I never interviewed that contacted me to be like, "We love what you were doing." Because they quit. Like Libby wrote a book. Libby Phelps. She contacted me was the nicest thing anyone's ever like said in that respect of like, I have a lot of like trauma associated with my mother and my family. I mean, and you making them look stupid and with jokes really kind of helped me be able to deal with like how much they hurt me while I was writing this book.
Wow.
Like it gave it it just took the edge off it a little bit. Is
Sure.
what she said. I was so like honored by that.
That's good.
Because that's what you're trying to
great.
do. You're trying to be like people, because that's what I'm really trying to do when I do those videos. It's like people assign you so much power, and I want to show them that you are nothing.
Yeah.
You are a loser. You have nothing to say.
Yeah.
And when you're put on the spot, you fall apart.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened. Like they're pretty irrelevant now.
Yeah, I mean, not because of me, but
Yeah.
not all, but just it just kind of.
But you were able to like kind of reveal that before it was.
Well, it's just the idea that like a lot of people like that, and it's the same thing with like with the the really ridiculous hardcore right wing alt right, like the toxic ones, that like they're really good when they can control their environment, but the second you start making them have to shift to what you what you want them to talk about, and they have to start explaining themselves,
Right.
things do kind of fall apart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They kind of like you realize that like it's very compartmentalized. They have they're not being honest, and so they have to control the game board to make the game work for them.
Right. They have to shift what you were talking about in the first. It just and it falls apart so easily to anyone with like a brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least capable of critical thinking. Yeah, I listened to Sam Harris interview the Dilbert guy, who the guy who created Dilbert, who's like a big Trump supporter now, because Sam Harris was like, my fans, people are accusing me of like not giving Trump supporters a fair shake. Who is the smartest Trump supporter? And I'll debate them. And they were like, you got to debate Scott Adams, the Dilbert guy. That's like the smartest Trump supporter they could find. And yeah, like super easy critical thinking questions of like, is Trump like where Trump was like clearly indefensible or whatever? He was like, well, here's the thing. We're watching two different movies. Like he'd do these analogies which didn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're liars.
Yeah.
They're all liars.
Yeah.
And deep down, it's because they believe we have to lie to compensate for the unfairness of the world.
Right.
Everyone hates us for no reason, and lies are the only weapon we have left. So that's why they're not like offended that Trump is guilty of the crimes that he's being accused of in the impeachment. They hired him to be a criminal. They hired him to be a liar.
Right.
So it doesn't offend them. He's doing what they wanted him to do. But none of them can honestly pretend he did not do the exact crime he's being accused of.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. And they their attitude is, it doesn't matter what he does. He's my president. But the second he's using his office to win the next election, you really cannot argue against that
especially
anymore.
using a foreign government to try and like that. That's like even moderate Republicans would be offended by that. I think just like, yeah, you can't like.
Well, they are offended by it. They're just cowards who
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
lose
yeah.
their jobs,
Right.
and they know they won't stay in Congress if they say anything.
Yeah, because he's so popular among Republicans.
But there really are no Republicans in power who are fooled by him. It's only the people who don't really have, a grasp of what's going on.
Right.
That kind of the people who have either diminished capacity, or they're drunk, so they're on medication, or they're not paying attention. People who
I think it's a lot of people just aren't paying attention. Like,
I mean, that's a big part of it. People
Yeah.
who choose not to want to know
I think there's a lot of
anything.
people who are just like, I just like him, and that's
right,
like the
and they
main-
like him for the same reason that people like shoplifting.
Yeah.
You get a thrill out of doing something you know is wrong.
Yeah.
And there are certain people that just kind of indulge in that.
They also find him entertaining, and they hate liberals enough. They're like, well, he's the bully who's bullying the people who are bullying me. Like that, I think that's a big part of it.
Right. It's about it's. I mean, yes.
It's
for
more about
many
being
people,
anti them than pro this guy.
Yeah, for
in a
many
lot of
people,
ways.
voting for him was a suicide pact.
Yeah.
It was a suicide attempt.
A
It
suicide
was,
squad.
I want him to kill us all because
Right.
I hate the people that are in charge.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they use word. Like, I mean, I knew someone who, during Obama's administration, said, without sarcasm, that what he hates about Obama is whenever he talks, he purposely uses words he knows we can't understand so that we can't argue with him.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening.
Yeah, that's on you for not understanding what he's saying.
If you don't if you don't understand what he's talking about, that is not a reflection on him.
Right.
That's a reflection on your egotism that you can't imagine it's possible that you just aren't, educated enough to understand a fairly straightforward thing.
Right.
Like a guy who's not using flowery language that much at all.
Sure. Yeah, no. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, I'm not I don't have I have a few Trump supporter friends, and I just a lot of it does come from a trolling aspect too. Like at least young Trump supporters love. I have a friend who literally has MAGA on his credit card. And
because he wants to offend people.
Yeah.
He wants to get the thrill of knowing he's making strangers feel something.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a lot of people who do feel powerless, and by saying they support this guy, they can get kind of some attention, even if it's negative. Because this guy's life is a mess.
They enjoy the idea that this is the first time they can make anyone feel anything about them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so sadly childish. Because, I mean, I know Trump supporters too, and I'm being honest when I say every single person I know who likes Trump is someone who before Trump I thought had something wrong with them. And I'm not saying that like, oh, every single person who likes Trump is sick. I'm saying everyone I knew who liked Trump before that, also believed something that was alarming
Right.
and untrue
Right.
and spoke to something wrong with them.
Sure. Yeah. That being said, I don't love the idea of like lumping every Trump supporter in, like, especially because they are just like so much of the country. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you can't. Once you kind of start to otherize that many people, I get a little bit wary because there's a lot of people who just like.
Well, they're sort of relying on that, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're relying on the idea that you're not allowed to ever call a group of people stupid or wrong or bad for believing in literally anything.
Right.
They're kind of relying on the idea that, like, I can believe literally anything and you can't judge me for it, which is very childish.
Yeah.
It's like you're allowed. There are certain things that if you believe, it's a reflection on you as a person.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, yeah, that's true.
And if you can't see how much of a con man he is, that's absolutely a reflection of you and your ability to parse reality.
Yeah.
And if you think that he's telling the truth about all this stuff, it means there's something wrong with your ability to parse reality.
Yeah, or you're just ignoring stuff. Is this like, so you worked on the Triumph election special, right?
Yeah.
So are most like, do you guys have these kinds of like serious political conversations in the room usually, or like try to parse this stuff out?
Not really.
No.
no, not really at all.
Yeah.
If that happens, it means that we're like, not working at the moment.
Yeah.
It's
It's like goofing off.
You might get into that, but like, no, I mean, that doesn't really happen in those scenarios. We never really, I don't feel like we had a lot of, at SNL either, like a lot of real in-depth conversations, mostly because everyone's kind of on the same page.
Right.
Like, you're not going to, like, none of the comedy writers are Republican because, I'm sorry, not many of them can write comedy in, you know, the professional context. It's not about, and it's not like an anti-affirmative. It's not like we're excluding them.
Right.
It's not a job that right-wing people tend to go for.
Right.
Because you have to be extremely adherent to reality to write jokes.
Yeah.
And you can't be adherent to reality and love Trump.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
There was a few, you know, funny Trump supporters, but, you know, it's a bit of an outlier thing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of also like, yeah, like they also like, it's also like a matter of like they hate the liberal media so much, and it's like they're probably not going to want to go into like media jobs for the most part.
Oh no, they want the jobs. There's no question about that. Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter, all those people became who they are because they couldn't get the mainstream jobs. Rush Limbaugh wanted to be a novelist or a sportscaster. Ann Coulter thought she was going to be a great philosopher or something, and they were like, okay, I guess the only way we're going to make it is this way.
Did you watch I was reading excerpts from Don Jr.'s book Triggered, and the guy wants to be a comedian. He really does. It's written like a comedy, like when a stand-up comic like rushes a book. That's
oh no, he is he thinks he's a genius. He thinks he's funny, and he's just not.
Yeah,
he is like every confident like guy with an office job at an open mic.
Were you at SNL when Trump hosted?
Yes.
Was that year?
Yep.
What was that like?
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, I did sign an NDA.
Oh, okay.
Which I have broken at many stand-up shows. But no, I mean, I honestly don't know what I'm not allowed to say.
Sure.
But yeah, no, he was there, and it was pretty much exactly what you'd expect. There was certainly no like revelations about him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's exactly what you expect, you know, a guy who's just like, you know, very, very complimentary, you know, when it's
You're
convenient.
amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah.
This is my favorite show of all time.
He was obsessed with Cecily Strong.
Really?
He could not believe how, I mean, she is the most talented one there.
Oh, yeah.
But like you see like the way he was
Hot
just
too.
shocked by her ability to do voices.
Really?
Yeah. He was, I mean, I'll say this. He was definitely, there was nothing that surprised you if you hated him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was not an impressive person. He seemed to have an inability to focus.
Right.
And I did notice before this was a big story at the time that he had like weirdly short hands.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that, like, God, his fingers are so short.
Well, he's such a big guy,
so
but then
stubby.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's just so large, and
yeah. I also thought it was funny. I remember when his doctor said that he grew an inch.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they said he was 6'3" instead of 6'2" suddenly,
Yeah.
and like Pete Davidson is 6'3", and like they are nowhere near each other in height. Like it's so
Was Pete taller than Trump?
much.
Oh my God.
Trump is 6 foot tops.
Whoa, really?
He's 6'3" in his physical.
I definitely thought he was like 6'3" or something.
He's only 6'3", so that his weight would not make him morbidly obese.
Sure.
He is 6 feet tall. Look at any picture of him next to Obama, who is 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
He is shorter than Obama.
Wow. Okay.
It's really pathetic that
Yeah.
he's increasing his height.
Yeah. And that's something you do when you're in 8th grade. You're like, I'm actually 6'3".
Well, I mean, he does lots of things that are like what a little kid would do. you
Yeah.
know? Like with that
Damn,
dog.
I'm taller than Trump. That rules.
Like you saw the thing with the dog last week? The dog that helped the
Oh, yeah,
military
Conan.
members. Right, Conan is a female dog, and Trump called it a boy. So then afterward, the White House clarified. He goes, oh, by the way, quick clarification. Turns out Conan is a girl. An hour later. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. Conan is not a girl. Conan is a boy. An hour after that, the Army, I forgot who it was exactly, but the person in charge of the dog was like, just so everyone knows, Conan is in fact a girl. Hour later. We apologize for incorrectly saying that Conan is a boy. Conan will always be a boy. And the worst thing about that is the next step is killing the dog. The next step is he's going to kill the dog.
Get rid of the
keep
dog.
people from knowing that he's capable of making that mistake.
Right. Well, it's so funny. This guy is so into like perfection and like, yeah, everyone agreeing that he's amazing and perfect. This guy he gets into more situations where he looks like an idiot than like anybody in the public eye,
Well,
or even in my personal life.
He is a confused, maybe on Adderall. A lot of people have said that he uses crushed up Adderall
I heard
for his
about
speeches.
yeah. That's
I've
a
heard that
thing.
from multiple different sources before it came out, and I was like,
I could see that. Older people are getting into Adderall. It's very, very
I
weird.
mean, the way every time he had a debate, couldn't stop snorting and sniffing. Yet you
Yeah.
never see him anywhere else doing that.
Yeah. And he only gets 3 hours of sleep.
That's
And-
very bad for you.
And also like I used to do Adderall in college, and it's like that bizarre behavior stuff. That's like a total symptom of like doing that.
The symptoms of amphetamine poisoning are very evident with him.
Yeah.
Delusions of grandeur, lack of focus, which I saw myself. The lack of focus was really interesting.
Really?
The way that I noticed that this wasn't at SNL. But in other times,
This is on Mad TV. when
yeah,
you were there.
I've noticed that you think he's conceited, which he is,
Yeah.
because he'll change the subject to himself, when in reality, I think he's changing the subject to himself because he's not able to follow what people are saying.
Oh my God.
I got that impression.
So what do you mean? How would he change the subject?
You know, like you'd be talking to him and he would just change the subject to, the ratings for shows I'm on are huge. And
Yeah.
It's just like, I think you're just saying.
Did he really do that? Like that kind of thing?
Yes.
He would just bring it back to like ratings. Like even in personal conversation where
Yeah.
there's no cameras or anything.
Hypothetically, yes. In a personal conversation with me, he did that.
That's so fucking funny.
You know, I mean, he talked about the war on Christmas, I remember. And
Yes.
now he's talking about the war on Thanksgiving.
Oh
How
man.
people were afraid to celebrate Thanksgiving. Like, he thinks you're an idiot. He thinks you're stupid.
We're gonna bring back the turkeys.
The people who try to pretend, like I remember Marco Rubio did this pathetic attempt to be like, well, he's just, he's just saying things to just upset the media, and you guys are, falling for it. And it's like, so you admit he's lying. But you're also saying that the lies everyone knows aren't true. So, but they're saying, like, you're saying when he said, I did not blackmail the president of Ukraine, that's a bit.
Right.
That's sarcasm.
Yeah.
He's not denying committing that crime. Like,
He's owning the libs.
they're all acting like we're idiots. But the thing is, it's a weird new kind of lying that Putin started when he invaded Crimea.
Sure.
It's this lying of, no one believes I'm lying.
Right.
No one believes I'm telling the truth. But by saying I'm lying, I'm basically saying, well, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
Which is
right.
the way that he lies now. He lies about things that everyone except like the mentally ill, people that aren't like able to understand what's going on
Sure.
believe. Like, I don't think anyone, like Jim Jordan knows he committed this crime.
Right.
Devin Nunes knows he committed the crime because Devin Nunes was part of the crime.
Right.
They are just saying, fuck you, we don't care, what are you going to do about it?
That feels like kind of the ethos of like, it's like just like a get out of jail free card of like, hey, yeah, this is all. It's just like diverting, and then what are you going to do about it? A lot of that stuff. It is funny how juvenile I think the whole Republican Party has shifted because like I was talking to somebody who's like really stoked on the fact that they like intruded on some closed door meeting and brought like Chick-fil-A sandwiches with them. It's
Right, a
like, what
meeting
the fuck is happening?
And it was a meeting that they were allowed to enter.
Yeah.
They pretended that they were barred from it. And then and what's really childish is they're just relying on people not bothering to learn things about the procedure. They keep saying you're breaking the rules. Those are the rules that the Republicans wrote in 2015, and they're hoping that enough people are not willing to check that out.
Yeah.
And just say, well, we're saying you're breaking the rules. I mean, people who were invited to the hearing broke in and said, this is because you wouldn't let us in. And they're like, you were on the list of people who were allowed in this.
It was just a stunt. Yeah. Because they think low information people are just going to be like, that's fucking awesome.
Their whole that's why Trump says, I love the poorly educated.
Yeah, of course.
Because
they love him.
Well, because he knows that they're the ones who buy it.
Right.
And that's the whole plan right now. Like, I remember during the gay marriage debate years ago, a Republican, because they were all against it until they couldn't be anymore, said, he goes, 8-year-old boys hate gay people. And he was like, look at them. They're pure. They haven't been perverted by society yet. And it's like, when you have to say that little boys are who our role models should be for how we feel about other people.
Sure.
You are a bad person.
Yeah.
Because that's not real.
Right.
You know that that 8-year-old boys are wrong about everything.
Right. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't love looking like kids is like, well, we should take our cues from these idiots. How's your Thanksgiving, by the way?
Pretty good. We got a lot of kids now.
Yeah.
A whole slew of children that I can inundate. And that's the thing. I haven't talked about politics with any of them yet.
Yeah.
We haven't bothered.
You should.
I'll do that when they want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. What's funny about my family, it's a very big family thing, is that Thanksgiving is often a political time. This is the first time my entire family is on one side.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Even all the Republicans have abandoned Trump in my family.
Yeah,
all of them are just like, are just looking at him. The ones who supported him when he first became president are just like horrified by just how
that's funny
clearly full of shit and sick and evil he is. I mean, it's so off the charts.
Sure.
That that it's like, how do you really? You can't really defend him anymore without being full of shit.
Sure,
or changing the subject. Or saying something that is, none of them defend him honestly. Yeah. If they had to, they would kill themselves.
Yeah.
They would throw tantrums and they would hit their heads against the wall.
Sure.
But it's funny how even the ones who I suspect may like him wouldn't even dare defend him now.
Sure.
Because how?
Yeah.
Why would you want to deal with that?
Well, that's the thing. It's like you can't purely defend Trump. There's always something. It's the easiest thing. It's like objectively he's bad. Like even from his political. Like I was trying to talk to someone about I was talking to someone I know that likes Trump, and I was basically like, he's trying to say he's not racist. He's not not. I was like, well, his entire political clout comes from the birther thing. What was that if not race? What is that if it's not?
He doesn't have so many different examples.
Yeah.
This is what his life has been.
Yeah.
The big reason he doesn't want to release his tax returns, by the way, is because they're going to see that he's given 0% to charity over the last 10 years. That's the biggest reason. He's not poor.
Yeah.
He's not a billionaire like he says he is, but he's not not rich. It's the fact that he literally has not given any money to charity. In fact, it's negative. He allocated. He admitted in court.
Yeah.
He pled that he stole millions of dollars. Was it millions? But anyway, he stole all this money from his own charity that was supposed to go to veterans, and he used it for his own campaign. Yeah. No other politician would be allowed to do that.
Sure.
Ever.
Yeah.
No person would be allowed to do that and still stay. You wouldn't be able to still be the fifth lead on a sitcom.
Sure.
If you were caught doing that.
Definitely.
But he gets special treatment because they all feel like he deserves it. And he's, he can't adhere to the regular rules like everyone else.
Totally.
So they're just full of shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I think my dad said he thought that Trump doesn't want to pay tax returns because he thinks that it'll show that he didn't pay any taxes, basically. He completely cheated the system.
Well, that's probably true too.
It probably reveals so much. It's crazy that we haven't seen them yet.
The charity one is going to be more damning because his charity with his name on it. Yeah. Where other people are donating to the charity, he thinks that counts as giving, and it does not. Right. Because he did not. In fact, he stole from it, so it's much, much worse.
Yeah. Well,
he's many times stolen from his own charity. There's multiple items of luxury that he owns that were paid for by people who thought they were making charitable donations, multiple paintings of himself in his own restaurants that his charity paid for, which is nothing compared to directly stealing money that was allocated for veterans and keeping it for yourself.
Right.
You can't ask them to defend that.
Right.
And ask them to defend that without making up something about a Democrat politician and pretending they did. Because like they'll say, well, Hillary did it. But like, yeah, but did you believe Hillary did that before Trump did it?
Right,
or are you just saying that anything he did, everyone else did? Their only real argument is that all of the rest of the government is so irredeemably evil that this worst one ever is not as bad, but only because you have created this image in your head of what is actually happening that is kind of a spy novel written by your grandma.
Yeah. Also, if you're gonna like the whole appeal of him is he's like, I'm not a typical government guy. I'm an outsider. I'm a populist. But if you're going to elect an outsider with no government experience, why would you elect an outsider who's more corrupt than most government officials?
Yeah,
like,
is openly corrupt, a known corrupt businessman who never made that many good decisions, put a lot of companies in bankruptcy. Started with saying he started with $1 million loan, then it was a $14 million loan, then it was $300 million. So now we know that there was literally nothing impressive about his career. He could have just kept it in the bank and made more money.
I was reading that like if he never actually got a bunch of money, like he inherited most of his money. Yeah. And if he had done nothing with it,
left it in an index fund,
he'd be richer. So
he's talking 40 years ago.
That's crazy. That means his whole pitch as a great businessman, he lost money. Like he hasn't he's a bad businessman.
Yeah, he's lost
his only successful venture was really the TV show. Like that's like
that's not his venture. That was just him as a character on a show that people enjoyed for how horrible he was.
Yeah.
And then what happened was he happened to be around when society went through this break where we started liking people simply for being horrible people because it held our attention.
Oh yeah, like Survivor.
Once that happened, we were all fucked permanently.
Yeah.
Once it became better to be a bad person than not be noticed.
I never thought about that.
We screwed culture at least for our lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, because that was like the dawn of reality TV of like and Survivor and Kardashian. And there's a total direct line from that to like
it's a direct line. The Cash Me Outside girl.
Yeah,
everyone is getting rewarded for being obnoxious and terrible, and it's better to be obnoxious and terrible than be a decent person.
Right.
How can you have a world survive when that's the dynamic?
That's the thing, especially with politics. It's like it's become like so about like who's the most entertaining. Where it's like, no, go back to when politics was boring as shit, and like these guys were like fucking.
Right. I mean, that's the biggest attack on Elizabeth Warren has been that she's boring.
Yeah.
Like, what, the president can't be boring? Why? So you don't want to go back to the day when kids hated that the State of the Union was on TV? Isn't that the way life is supposed to be?
Yeah, I know. Well, I remember before even Trump ran, Trump like got a bunch of people into politics who never, because I've always been kind of a political junkie, and it just got a bunch of people into it. And it's like, damn, I miss when nobody knew what I was talking about when I talked about like
yeah, and I also just like I resent when people would talk about, oh, isn't this good for comedy? No,
it's not.
It's hacky. It's sucking the energy out of every different subject. Now there's one thing we can talk about. You can't even escalate. You can't heighten him.
Yeah, that's what I said because like someone that thinks he was like, Trump's probably great for you, right, for comedy. I'm like, no, because I can't follow him. Like what he said.
He's already a joke.
Yeah,
he's already a joke.
Yeah,
it's like anyone can make a Trump joke. Not everyone can make a Marco Rubio joke.
Yeah. It's easier to go after someone more boring, I think. Yeah, I mean, or at least it's more fun. The South Park guys said it's like a monkey running into a wall, Trump. Yeah. Like, how do you make fun of that? It's just already funny. You can't make a joke about that.
Yeah, there's only like, so much you can make.
The funniest thing you can say is, look at the monkey running into the wall.
And then make an analogy about how stupid the monkey is. We already know.
Yeah,
there's no subtlety.
You're not revealing
anything.
There's
no nuance to mine.
Yeah.
There's no like, hey, you know what I noticed about Trump? That everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, that's a great point. Because it's all just it's a monkey throwing shit at you. Yeah. There is nothing behind this. Yeah. There is nothing.
This is a lot like we'd rather watch the monkey keep throwing shit at you. Stop.
Yeah, it's like trying to do.
Stop with the metaphors, clown.
It's like trying to do a mystery science theater of porno.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What really is there to say?
Or like a Sharknado or something. Like, yeah, it knows it's stupid. Or it's already you're already laughing at this being stupid.
Right. It's like if How Did This Get Made tried to do like a high school student film.
Right.
It's like at some point, we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
this is garbage.
this is not. Yeah, it's like, yeah, shut up, Paul Scheer. This is this is already too funny.
Which sucks because I have a movie that I was in that I wish I would love to be on. How Did This Get Made? Because it is the worst movie of all time. It's off Amazon. It was on Amazon for a while. It's called Just Our Luck.
Yeah.
And so I did this movie, and I was doing a play in L.A.
Yeah.
where I was playing Lyndon Johnson for some reason.
Sick.
In a play about Jim Crow, Mississippi.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It was about Fannie Lou Hamer. It was a great.
And you are the spitting image of LBJ.
We know what the funny thing about that? If it wasn't for the assassination, JFK would have been president the year that this takes place.
Right.
I'm so much better for JFK.
You totally could have been JFK.
I could totally play JFK.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm like I made my hair gray to be Lyndon Johnson, who was bald.
Yeah.
It was not a great play. And I had to say everything. By the way. I also played the cop.
You had to say the N-word?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I didn't say it on stage. I had to say it into a mic back. Remember, I'm the only white person in this building.
Oh, my God.
It's all the plays written, directed, starring all African Americans. The audience is all older black people because I mean they're watching a civil rights play. And the nicest thing that somebody said was he was like, I appreciate that you really went for it. Because I mean I'm playing a cop stopping black people from voting.
To be fair, you're in a play. I would assume they like kind of know what's happening, right?
Yeah, well, of course. Like, they appreciate. You have. What are you gonna do? Not tell the real story?
Yeah, that's so. I was just in. Not in.
Anyway, those guys asked me to be in their friend's movie that they were filming, and I happened to be free that day, so I showed up without reading the script.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing I'd ever been in.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then I was shocked out of my face when someone texted me like, hey, I was just watching something on Amazon that you're in. And
oh
like,
my God, it's up there still?
It was.
That's
it had
fucking
hundreds
sick.
of reviews of
Hell
people
yeah.
hundreds of reviews of people just being like, I don't understand what I'm watching. It's like watching a porno movie where they never take their clothes off. So anyway, that was for.
No, yeah. I just saw Great Society, speaking of which is about LBJ. It's the guy from Secession plays LBJ, Brian Cox. And there's one tasteful N-word in there. But it was also about like
tasteful.
But it was funny. They were dropping N-words left and right because it's about like the racism in the South. And it's like, oh,
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to sanitize it? You're
exactly.
Gonna make it sound like it wasn't as bad as it was?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
the question. Yeah, right. And it's like, yeah, of course. You got to.
And they had me saying basically every racial epithet I'd ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I had to say the
it's funny to just picture a black screenwriter making you do this.
I had to say like all the softer old-timey ones.
Nice.
As my the cop
right
pulling over these people on the Freedom Bus.
Sure.
I say the ones that like aren't that bad, like Boy.
Yeah.
And the other ones I'm not going to say.
How old were you at this time?
This is like 5 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I was in this play, and they were like, oh, the play was great because it was like just serious and had amazing singing and it was just inspiration. And I get to this, and then I just get to this like movie that's just because one person was helping them produce, so it wasn't very connected, and it's just this. So the script was so bad that I was like, I wanted to just run away.
Right.
But I couldn't because I had to do the play every weekend, and I would see
Sure.
them. And I just tried to make the best of it. I had to play a guy in a wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
which was not okay.
Right.
I mean, I played a guy in a wheelchair, and my friends, one was blind, one was deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very offensive.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back on this, I just cannot believe this happened. And then I looked up the other projects by the same director who I doubt she's listening. She's probably going to. I mean, she already hates me.
I'll message it to her, though.
Well,
just
she
make
hates
sure
me.
sees it.
I'll tell you why she hates me. So while we were filming this, I was just thinking, this is the worst thing I have ever been part of. And I've been a part of some really bad
Sure,
sketches.
yeah.
Definitely bad. And I remember there was one scene where I'm like, you know what? If I didn't hate what I was doing so much, and I wasn't so offended by the jokes in this, I would tell them that, the sound guy is not in the car right now, right? Like that there's nothing getting sound right now. And I was like, just gonna keep that to myself. About a month later,
Yeah.
I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, Dave, listen, we need a big favor from you. Turns out we didn't get sound
Oh
in that
my
car
God.
scene. Can you come in and ADR yourself?" And I was like, "No, I'm just too busy.
Oh my
I
God.
will not do it."
Hollywood
Which
Dave.
is a very mean thing to do.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, the movie was so bad and so like, and I mean bad, like I was offended by things that were said in the movie.
Sure.
Like it was written by a woman, and I found it to be incredibly anti-women.
That's
in
hilarious.
a very toxic way.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, there's so many
Sounds
ways
like
this movie is
sounds like my
unforgivable.
wife. Do you have her number?
And I love how you're pretending you have a wife in this apartment. And I just remember, and so if you watch this movie, in the middle of the movie, suddenly I have a different person's voice.
Yeah.
Which I just like, that's going to be the funniest part of this movie. And it is. I've gotten texts about that.
That
like,
rules.
Oh my God, when you switch to like some weird, it sounds like a British guy trying to do an American accent.
Hello, Governor. It's me, Dave Sirus.
It's unbelievable.
That rules.
How hard to watch this movie is. And then I looked up her other movies
Yeah.
that she had directed. She directed three previous movies. One called Nerd Boy,
Yes.
which is like, I mean, just picture the most stereotypical glasses on the glasses with the tape in between them.
Yeah.
Nerd, and it's supposed to be a movie that takes place in high school, and I swear to God, the actors look like they're in their late 40s. Then she did a movie called Rappas.
Oh,
R-A-P-P-A-S.
no.
This was a movie about two rappers who have to raise $10,000 in one day and enter a rap contest because they've been framed or blackmailed by a drug dealer or some stupid reason.
Sure.
And they have to enter a rap contest to win that money. Her next movie was called Mama's Foot. And the poster of it is just a big close-up of a horribly disease-ridden foot. And the back of this DVD says, once again, two twin brothers in South Central, same words, have to raise $2,000 to save their mama's foot. So they enter a rap contest.
What the fuck? This chick rules.
Like I was so enamored with just these terrible movies,
like
that
hacky,
she's somehow able to get out in some capacity.
How'd she get the money to make them? Like the like movies are not easy to make, even these low budget ones.
We did discuss this. I assumed it was some sort of money laundering.
Oh my
system,
God!
Because I couldn't think of any other reason why anyone would pay her to make these movies. And that is an old thing in Hollywood. Like
Yeah.
the mafia would launder money.
Yeah.
By saying a movie had a $5 million budget. Like the FBI doesn't know.
Sure. That's so fucking. I gotta look these up.
I mean, they're really great if you look up Mama's Foot.
Mama's Foot. I'm intrigued by Mama's Foot.
Look up Mama's Foot, and
I just
believe it's
love that, like, those people with horrible visions that they just see all the way through. Do you know what I mean? Like that, like The Room,
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau, like those guys.
Sometimes you see like a movie that everyone loves, and you're like, this is just bad.
I know.
This is just flat out bad.
That happens
and
to me all the
I
time.
don't understand what kind of mob mentality is making people like it.
Can you think of an example of that?
Yeah, I feel like these are things I should no longer be saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you're famous now.
I
Feel
well,
free
just-
not to.
I mean, obviously, I'm not even close to that, but like, I do have to work with actual successful people.
Totally.
I thought War for Planet of the Apes was the most confusingly bad movie I've never seen.
Was
a
that the one
movie-
on the planet? I don't think I saw War. I
was
saw
the last
I saw
one.
Rise and Dawn. Yeah, I didn't.
Those
see
were
War.
fine.
Yeah,
I thought those were good movies.
I like those a lot.
And
yeah.
I thought War was so ridiculously bad, so like confusingly bad, and people talked about like it was a good movie, and I'm like, it was like if you only look for like, I want this marker of this emotional feeling somewhere, and I want to feel this somewhere,
Right.
and you don't care how much the reality doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I can kind of get it, but this was a bad movie.
What was cool about
There wasn't even a war in it.
What?
There was no war.
There's war in the first two. There's no war in the third
first two are like, okay, the second Planet of the Apes movie, The Rise, you see on that bridge, you see a bunch of apes.
It's a war.
Attacking cops. You're like, all right, this is where it starts. The third movie, the apes never fight the people. People fight other people and kill each other, and the apes just happen to be the only ones left, and that's how they take over. It was the laziest goddamn excuse. The whole movie was nothing but a Chicken Little ripoff.
Oh my God.
The whole plot was Chicken fucking Little.
No, fuck.
Or no, Chicken Run, the one that was a Great Escape.
Oh
parody.
yeah,
It
with
was
Mel Gibson.
It was just Chicken Run.
Oh my God, that sucks.
It's such a bad movie.
I kind of want to watch it.
Okay,
now.
another example: Hustlers.
Oh yeah.
Hustlers is one of the worst scripts I've ever watched in a movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Friend of the show, Big J. Okerson's in it.
I
Isn't
thought
he?
Jay was great. I was very happy to see Jay in it. I was very happy to see Gianmarco in it.
Oh, Gianmarco's in it?
Gianmarco's great. He's really funny. He's
I'm just a hustler.
Yeah, Gianmarco's really funny in it. He has a really funny moment.
I like Gianmarco, yeah.
Actually, he's a great moment. Everyone would want to play this. He plays the one guy who, like, figured it out before they robbed him.
Oh,
and he's so
nice.
great at that. He's just like, no.
You can't hustle me.
Like, I thought he was really funny. And look, J-Lo looks great, and I had no problem with her acting or anything, but what a terrible script.
That was one that I was so surprised it was number one. I was like, what the fuck? How does that? Yeah.
And I was also just offended, like, by the dishonesty behind it. Like,
Yeah.
look, you can make a great movie about bad people.
Totally.
But there's no reason
some of my
to
favorite movies.
But there's no reason to pretend that these are good people.
Right.
Because I see so many people like, well, it's empowering these women. We're taking back. Like, look at the actual story. These were not women drugging guys, frequenting sex workers, or even guys who were going to a strip club and were rich. They were drugging random men in a TGI Fridays. Not exactly the place I go to find wealthy businessmen.
Wait, that's the plot of the movie? Is they drug people and
the real story is that they don't make it a TGI Fridays because they don't have the rights to it. But the real story is they went to Fridays and they put a mixture of ketamine and Molly.
That's so
in
insane.
People's drinks, which could have easily killed.
This
them.
is a movie where they made a movie about these people,
and like we're calling them heroes. And it's like, you know the name. By the way, you know the name of the guy who they went to prison for drugging?
Yeah.
I've heard so many people be like, oh, well, they were just taking it back, and these are just wealthy white businessmen and Wall Street types. Well, the guy they drugged and that actually went to jail for was named, I believe, Zayed Yunan. He was an Iranian.
Oh,
so they
man.
weren't just doing white guys. They weren't just doing business. He was a white doctor. I mean, not a white. He was like an Iranian doctor who never hurt anyone. He wasn't married. He didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
He was just a guy that they stole the life savings from.
Yeah.
And then like people being like, well, that reporter stole the whole story. It's like there's something called the Son of Sam law. You can't profit off your crime story.
Right.
It's called the Son of Sam law. And it's like, fuck you. You're not a fucking hero. You just stole from people.
Yeah.
Like I said, that doesn't mean the movie can't be good.
Right.
You still make a great movie.
Yeah,
Lots
Wolf
of
of
great
Wall
movies are
Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. If you watch that movie and love Jordan Belfort, you're a piece of shit.
You're an
too.
idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
Did not get the
No,
movie.
I know a lot of people who wanted who they were gonna go and like, yeah, fuck yeah, it's gonna be about a badass in Wall Street. They left like, I didn't like it, like because it's so clearly he's a bad guy.
But no, like Hustlers was just not a good script.
It's like if they tried to reframe Bill Cosby's life as a Black Power story,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just because they're women, sounds like they're horrible people.
Yeah, it's not like they were just like if they and also if they were just drugging guys in a strip club, that would be wrong also.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they were going after the plenty of terrible men who treat women badly. They were going after any guy who happened to be at a Friday.
Just like trying to get dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
At a bar that poor people go
So wait,
to.
do they drug Big J?
I mean,
Oh, he's a strip club DJ.
he's
in
the
it, right?
DJ.
Okay,
'cause
yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
How
he
many
has
times
such a
has Big
niche,
J
that rule.
God, how many times has Big J played a DJ, by the way?
I'll bet his auditions are just like, all right, scumbag number 4, strip club DJ, guy at strip club.
That's why I feel bad because I love Big J. And
Yeah.
I love a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people worked hard and they believed in it. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of the actors.
Oh, I'd
in it.
kill to be in this
But
movie.
it's just but it's
That's
just
the thing about movies, even when they suck. Like, dude, I'd love to be in a bad. I'd be in a fucking bad movie. That'd
Yeah,
be
of course.
sick.
yeah.
I would be in the movies. Like, I really didn't like Gemini Man. I thought Gemini Man was a huge fucking misfire.
see that.
Oh, it's so. I have AMC A-list.
Oh God, wait, that's the Will Smith.
Will
movie.
Smith sees.
Yeah.
What my favorite
I
part
mean,
about it
come
is, and sorry to, yeah, well, it's, I know.
When was the last time Will Smith had a great film?
It's been a long time. I looked at his filmography. It's been like, fuck, is it really I Am Legend? But
I don't like that either.
what's so funny
Fucking
is
hated I Am Legend.
it's about like they CGI a young Will Smith versus old Will Smith, but they picked the worst actor for that because Will Smith hasn't aged that much. Like,
yeah.
he looks the same as he did in his 30s.
He doesn't look that bad.
No, they should have picked Nick Nolte or somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, someone who like it looks unrecognizable, like Pacino. Like you
Yeah.
can't even tell that was him.
Yeah. And that was, and after I saw it, I was like, well, that sucked. What the fuck was that? I looked up and they're like, well, it was a big exercise in high frame rate. That's like new technology, but it was like I just saw it in regular 2D. So without that, it was just a nothing movie. And
Yeah.
they didn't advertise that at all.
Boy. Well, I just saw The Irishman.
Yeah.
Which does that same technology.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
they
yeah.
Age everyone. The funny thing about The Irishman.
Did you like it?
I thought it was okay. I would be surprised if it's like a big Oscar winner.
Right.
I thought the problem I had with the movie was like it didn't justify its length.
Mm-hmm.
I like a long movie.
Yeah, me too.
I loved Endgame. I thought Endgame flew by.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
it did
yeah.
a really good. Whereas this was a movie that was like there were so many things that I get why they wanted to do it, but just didn't need to be there.
Sure.
This did not need to be a over 2.5 hour.
3.5 hours.
I'm sorry, it didn't need to have that hour.
Right.
And also, it's Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
I know the whole Jimmy Hoffa story already.
See, I didn't know anything about Jimmy Hoffa, so I was like, whoa!
Right, but like, I was
yeah.
like, you know the basics of Jimmy Hoffa. And the worst part about it is the guy who it's based on, Sheeran, is a liar.
Oh, really?
He claims Jimmy Hoffa had JFK killed,
Oh, wow.
which no one believes.
Right.
So why should we believe the other half of the story?
Sure.
So that was kind
I
of.
didn't think it was. I just love those guys so much.
I thought it was good. No, I
Yeah.
thought that the acting was amazing. I thought it was a great story. I just
Yeah.
it absolutely could have been.
It could have been trimmed.
much-
100. The thing is, it is a long movie and it feels long. That's my
It
biggest
feels
complaint.
long.
Is it feels long?
It wasn't
Because Wolf of Wall Street is 3 hours
Yeah.
and that flies by.
Yeah, or Casino was a movie that like it's so much information that you're like, yeah, I'm experiencing a lot in this movie. Whereas
Yeah.
when you watch like The Irishman, for so much of this movie, it just seems like the same thing of just like, hey, he's gonna kill you. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well,
He's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill you.
he's gonna do it then. 'Cause
Yeah.
you should probably prepare for that.
I was just happy to get, and maybe I'm easy to please with this genre. I for sure am easy. I love mob movies. I'm just glad we got a great De Niro and Pacino because it's been so long since a good Pacino.
And I did not like Heat.
Oh, I like Heat.
I loved Casino. I didn't like Heat.
Casino's awesome. I love Casino too.
Yeah,
But it was great to see a great Al Pacino perform because
it was great. Pacino was amazing.
His last great performance was Jack and Jill, and that was too long ago.
He was pretty good in that.
He was good.
You cannot deny that he was great in that.
He was great, and apparently he took it really seriously.
Yeah.
Smigel co-wrote that.
Yes, he did.
He has a great story I heard on a podcast about how Pacino called him up in the middle of the night and was like, I've cracked the case. I'm Don Quixote.
I know exactly what you mean too. That's the funniest thing about it. Like that for his process, even a movie like Jack and Jill, he has to figure out the literary.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I'm Don
background to his-
Quixote. And apparently Smigel was like, yeah, call Sandler.
Yeah. You know, Brick Tamlin in Anchorman was actually the old man in the sea. If you really think about it.
At the end of the day, Righteous Kill was about Ulysses.
I'm a fan of acting.
Doolin Pacino's over here. I love.
I can only do Pacino saying two things: that and she had a great ass.
Oh, she had a big ass. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste.
Taste, don't swallow.
Don't swallow. I gotta ask Smigel, or if you have one question to bring back to Robert Smigel,
Yeah.
did he intentionally destroy Al Pacino's Oscar in that movie?
Oh.
Because there's a scene where Pacino.
That can't be unintentional.
That's
gotta
so fucking funny. They
gotta
destroy his Oscar in the
Yeah.
movie. And I gotta know if I've seen Jack and Jill like 10 times. I gotta know if the last scene is Sandler showing what seems like a meta moment where he showed him the whole movie and he was like, "What'd you think?" And Pacino's like, "Nobody can ever see this. You gotta burn this." And I'm like, wonder if that's a meta moment.
Was he actually talking about the?
I was like, is this about
That's
the movie
funny.
they just watched?
Well, you have to understand, like when they were making this movie,
Yeah.
I remember like the build up to Jack and Jill. People thought this was going to be like the blockbuster of blockbuster
I remembered.
comedies.
I saw it in
And
theaters.
you know what? It almost was. It could have, if not for the South Park episode, it would have.
Yeah. I actually think Jack and Jill is a great bad movie. Like,
is.
It is
No, it is. It is.
hilarious. I laugh at
Been.
it.
It's funny.
It's not a movie, but it's very funny.
You're not supposed to take that movie seriously.
Yeah, Sandler knows what he's fucking doing.
Now, speaking of Sandler,
What are we doing?
speaking of serious Sandler,
Yeah,
I just saw a movie. I think it comes
Uncut
out in a few
Gems?
days. Yes.
I can't wait.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
I know. I'm a Sandler like super
I
fan.
cannot believe how good that movie was.
Really?
I honestly was amazed.
I can't wait. Fuck,
He's
hell yeah.
so good. He could get a goddamn Oscar nomination for this movie. And it's, I mean that knowing Adam Sandler. Seriously.
No, yeah.
Watch this movie. The Safdie brothers are fucking
Well, he's
geniuses.
great when he does drama. Almost every time he knocks out of the park.
He
Funny people, fucking even Spanglish he's good in that. Punch Drunk Love, he's amazing
Yeah,
in that.
he is.
And I've heard this is his best performance.
It
You know what?
is.
Him and Meyerowitz stories, I almost cried. He's amazing in
I
that.
didn't see that yet.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Definitely check it out.
But no, Uncut Gems. Especially if you have a gambling problem.
Yeah.
If you have any experience gambling,
Yeah.
this movie is. So, I mean, I'll say this: It is so much better than any of the other gambling movies I've ever seen.
What about Rounders?
I love Rounders.
Yeah.
Rounders is a great movie, but like when you see, you know what I mean? This isn't like a movie.
Yeah.
This is like, it's like a much smarter version of what's the movie where the guy has to turn his heart on?
I don't know.
You know the movie with Jason Statham?
Oh, Crank.
Crank.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's like
I love Crank.
It's like a much smarter version of Crank.
Hell yeah.
It's like that kind of like the level of experience.
Crank-a-hoo.
The exhilaration
Yeah.
of like the way it makes you feel.
Did you see Good Time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good Time was great too.
It's like that? Is it
it's
like that?
that? It's better.
Oh, okay. Hell
It's
yeah.
a much more focused Good Time.
I've also heard that the character on paper is very despicable, but because it's Sandler, that makes him like super likable. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like his performance.
The character's
really...
despicable, but he's also like he's great. Like,
Yeah.
It's a great story. By the way, here's a funny story that no one will understand about this movie, Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge underground rap fan.
Yeah.
I'm
as am
into,
I.
like,
Yeah.
I'm into like one of my, I don't like him as a person, but one of the best rappers in the underground is Necro.
Mm-hmm.
Necro, do you know Necro's real name?
What?
Ronald Braunstein. Okay? And Necro was in Good Time.
Oh, yeah.
He was the drug dealer in Good Time
Oh, yeah.
at one point.
Okay.
And when I'm watching, so I know he's associated with these guys.
Uh-huh.
And then in the opening credits, it says written by the Safdie brothers and Ron Braunstein.
Whoa.
And I was like, whoa, Necro wrote this movie?
I had no idea.
And then I find out afterward, the movie Good Time had an actor named Ronald Braunstein and an editor named Ron Braunstein.
Oh, my God.
Two different people with the name Ron Braunstein in the same movie.
That's so funny.
It's like, I feel like an idiot, but it's like, how would I not have assumed
yeah.
that
yeah.
it's the same Ron Braunstein?
Right. Yeah.
For a minute, I was so proud of Necro.
Yeah.
And like, nope. Established
Yeah.
writer and editor,
Yeah.
same name.
Yeah, that's
Weirdest
what I thought.
coincidence ever.
The passed away Kevin Barnett. There's another Kevin Barnett in comedy writing who wrote Righteous Gemstones, and there's a bunch of episodes that said written by Kevin Barnett, and I was
Holy
like,
shit.
"Great job, man. Rest in peace."
That's
It is a
so
completely different
weird.
guy.
Oh my God, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Kevin. He was a great guy.
Do you have to go soon?
Not really. I got
Okay,
time.
cool. I gotta change the batteries. We'll be right back. Check. I'm just gonna. All right, we're back. I had to change the batteries. First successful battery change mid-podcast. So there we go. We talked a little bit off mic about your relationship with Pete Davidson.
A little bit.
Yeah. So how'd you guys meet, by the way? I don't know if you probably
did-
told us a million times.
Right
but
after he turned 18. I remember it was right around his 18th birthday. We both did a show at this VFW in Jersey. We kind of both had like the only good sets of that show.
Right.
And so we kind of, were getting along. We
Oh,
had close
Dave, if you don't know, is Pete Davidson's basically writing partner, right?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
fair?
Yeah. We're writing partners. And our friend Matt Bridgestone, a good personal close friend of both of ours, was like, "Hey, that guy Pete we hung out with, he's in L.A. filming something. Can you show him around? Doesn't really know anyone. He's a fun. You guys, I was like, oh yeah, he was cool. So we hung out. We got to be friends, and then
That's awesome.
we started writing together because he was starting a little bit after that. He was starting to get like a lot of opportunities.
Sure.
And like Comedy Central was like, oh, do you want to write a web series for us that maybe could turn into a TV show? And so we did. And like we wrote it really fast with Derek Gaines, and
Oh,
they
cool.
immediately wanted to make it. And it was in pre-production when he got SNL,
Wow.
which canceled that.
So funny how all those things kind of come like.
In fact, we had a movie with Judd at the time.
Oh,
This
really?
is I want to say, 2015.
Oh, yeah. So Dave is writing with Pete. You are the co-writer of the new Judd Apatow
Yes.
movie coming out with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the three of us got the writing
That's
credits for
fucking
that.
awesome.
I mean, obviously, with a movie like that, there's other people, very talented people, who also contribute.
Yeah, but you got
writing.
the damn credit.
Yeah. But yeah, like Ricky Velez and Judah Miller.
Oh, cool.
Really, really funny.
Ricky's
people.
another one of Pete's openers, right?
Yeah. Ricky and I.
My sister went to go see Pete and said Ricky crushed.
Oh yeah,
in
Ricky's
San
an amazing
Francisco.
stand-up. He's gonna have a special, pretty soon, I think too. Ricky's he's gonna be huge. I think. Like, I think this movie's gonna be really good for him.
Is he in it a lot?
Yeah, no. Ricky's a pretty big character. In
That's
the
so
movie.
cool. Pete like hooked up these guys. He basically like
Yeah,
knew forever.
yeah.
that
And
he's-
you can only hook up so many people when you do a movie like this.
Sure.
But like that's why they were like a very short. And you know what though, there's no one you can guarantee that because they got to audition.
Right.
They got to, get the audition. And, Ricky killed his. And, we got I can tell you that there are a lot of people in the movie that were like friends of ours that we really wanted to get in the movie. But they had to clear the audition. And a lot of them did. Machine Gun Kelly is in it because he's actually a really good actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know that guy?
Yeah. No, we hang out with him a lot. Yeah.
How does he feel about that Eminem feud?
I can tell you all about that. I was hanging out with him right when that was going down.
Oh my God. What was his reaction?
I was hanging out with him and Bam Margera.
Yo, all right, so Machine Gun Kelly's gonna drop a diss track.
Yeah.
Eminem's gonna be so pissed.
I remember this, and this was after Coulson, Machine Gun Kelly dropped the diss, and before Eminem's comeback.
Yeah.
So that was like a week of everyone being like, I remember Bam being like, "There's no way he's coming back, man. He wouldn't dare." And
I remember thinking he wasn't gonna.
Oh, I remember. Look, I love Machine Gun, and I think it was a great song. I think they're both great diss songs.
Yeah.
I think it was the first time that someone had
was catchy, but
yeah, I think the first time someone had a good, comeback to Eminem, really, that wasn't embarrassed.
Right.
But like, I remember them just thinking like, yeah, he's definitely gonna have a song soon.
Yeah,
Let's not delude ourselves. You know what though? I love the fact that thanks to Machine Gun Kelly, Eminem put out his best song in years too.
Everyone almost agreed that song was pretty sick.
It was a great song.
It really brought out the fire in him.
And
again.
Coulson's song was good too. It was. I mean, look, there's nothing I love more in underground rap, in mainstream even, than like a good diss back and forth.
So how did MGK react? Were you with him around that time when the Eminem version dropped?
Yes, I think he did a thing where we were there and he popped a champagne cork.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Well, I was in that room.
Were you really?
Yeah. I think I was in the room for that because I remember when while he's playing the part where he says his name.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, if you're Machine Gun Kelly, you got Eminem.
Yeah.
Focused
to talk about.
I mean, as big as Machine Gun Kelly is, I mean, there's no one bigger than Eminem in rap.
He's the biggest rapper ever.
That's a big deal for anyone. And the fact that he didn't get embarrassed, I thought that was great. But like, I'm not going to pretend that Kill Shot wasn't a great fucking song.
That must be so funny to say, "Hey, Machine Gun or Coulson, love you, but this was fucking
I will
sick."
say, I was after Killshot came out, as Coulson's friend, I did start making little notes like, okay, just in case somebody asks me to give him a few zingers.
Yeah.
I did start writing down Eminem disses. Just to be like, you know what,
this might come in handy.
Just on the small chance that somebody is like, "Hey, Dave, you're the best roast writer I know."
Yeah, when you're like in the mix of that huge feud, you're like, "Hey, I got some roast battle experience."
Yeah, I know. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
I was ready to do some jokes about him wrapping sandwiches at Jersey Mike's. You piece of garbage.
Spitting on your onion rings.
I wanted to talk about the fact that I think he has lip fillers now. I thought no one's brought that up, and I really think he has them.
Wait, what are lip fillers? Like the injections?
Yeah, like I think Eminem kind of looks like he's got those Kylie Jenner lips. I'm not 100% sure.
Everyone with over $50 million, I feel like, has had some sort of plastic surgery.
He looks a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was. Yeah, Machine Gun Kelly got in the movie. He plays.
That's cool.
I won't say who he plays yet, but he's in it. He's great. No, we were able to get like a lot of the comics. Like we wanted to get people we love, like Lynn Koplitz, Lisa Traeger.
Nice. Bill Burr.
Bill Burr is he's a main character.
He's so sick.
Good. People are going to be fucking shocked by Bill's acting.
Yes, I'm so
people
excited.
Expect because you already expect Marissa Tomei to be a great actor,
right? She
is, but like Bill's a fucking actor.
Yeah,
like he was really impressive. Steve Buscemi's in it.
Fuck yeah!
I got to. My scene was cut, but it was with Buscemi, so at least I got to say I got to do a quick scene with Buscemi, even though it's not in it.
You're getting
anymore.
greedy, Dave. You're like, I'm going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
I got to write in the movie.
Oh, I knew from day one my scene was not going to make it in. It was so like tacked on.
Yeah.
So small. But no, I mean, there's just like I'm trying to think who else like is really. But there's a lot of like we have. It's really nice to like that we get a lot of people like. Maybe their first big movie credit.
Yeah, that's so cool.
There's a guy named.
But that's why I feel like that's what I like about Pete. I mean, like, it feels like he's like given a lot of opportunities to people, like helping break some people, which is kind of cool. Because a lot of people, especially when they get famous as young as Pete did, like, kind of leave everyone behind and like, yeah, fuck all these guys I came up with. You know what I mean?
No, Pete really does.
That must be cool. He kind of brought you with him too.
I mean, you know, he did bring. You know, like I definitely owe him that. You know, and it was just like it was one of those things. Like when I talk to people, like I know a lot of struggling comics, and I will say, look, I failed longer than any of you.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
In terms of like not being able to like pay your bills through comedy, like
I
spent a lot longer than anyone should.
Yeah.
Hoping that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I just it's simply about making yourself indispensable to someone.
Sure.
It's about being. I always say to people, no one's going to do you a favor.
Right.
No one's going to help you until they see you as someone who they need.
Right.
And that you have something you can provide that they can't get on their own. And for me, that's what it was. It was like I was able to make someone else's comedy better.
Right.
I was able, and also it was like able to help like him write his update features without having to burn all his stand up.
Sure.
So his second year at SNL was my first year, my only year there, where I wrote a lot of, we wrote all his update features together, and it was like it really, I think it really was, and I still write for those update features.
Right.
And, it was like I did a good job. So it was like we became, a writing team because it just worked. But you're not going to but there's a lot of people as talented as me or more who don't get that chance.
Yeah, some people who host podcasts in their bedrooms, for example. But
a lot of it is luck. A lot of it is just being lucky.
Being the right
and not giving up and having a family and a job before it's too late.
Sure.
Because for me, it is far too late.
Yeah.
It's too late for me to have a family.
But
it's too late to have any other career.
But you got a fucking movie. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, and if it does well, then I'll get to do more.
That's great. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good movie. I mean, I think people will like it. Hopefully, the world agrees.
So what was your writing process for the movie? Did you write it with Judd, or did you guys break it together, or like did you send a draft to him? I'm like kind of curious about the process.
Basically, we had a movie with Todd Phillips we were working on, and that movie ended up not getting produced.
That's so funny because Pete reminds me of the Jared Leto Joker. Continue.
That's fair. That is fair. If he ever knocks his teeth out, he really will. But which, by the way, we've always thought Pete, great potential young Joker.
Totally, dude. I call him the Joker of fucking.
Yeah.
Just spreading chaos with his dick.
Yeah. But we had the movie with Todd Phillips that ended up not getting made, and the Joker was made instead of that.
Wow.
Which is
hilarious.
Which is so frustrating because I'm like, I know mine wouldn't have been as good, but fuck you.
The Joker is sick.
But that was a completely different movie, unrelated.
Yeah, was yours going to be a comedy, or was he
straight comedy.
That's so crazy.
Straight comedy.
I'll do a Pete Davidson straight comedy or the Joker movie.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
And so we
Hollywood.
ended up not making that movie, and then Judd liked the script that Warner did not want to make. And Judd was like, oh, I like the script. Do you guys want to take another crack at that thing we were going to do 5 years ago or 4 years ago of writing a movie together? And we did. And basically it was just all about just Pete's life, not his real life, but just trying to make a story that used his life, that used what he's been through.
Give me the mic a little closer, by the way.
That used like what he's been through and took advantage of the emotional, like, just like something that rhymed with reality.
Sure.
And I think there's actually something really, without giving too much away, because I don't think it's given it too much away, is that it's a movie with that 9/11 has nothing to do with this movie.
Oh.
But it's about someone whose dad died as a fireman. And I think there's, on some level, like, there are gonna be people who watch this and be like, well, why is it such a big deal that this guy's father died? And I think that's something people should think about. Be like, well, why would it be a bigger deal? Why would it be less of a big deal if a firefighter died in a regular fire than on the most famous one ever? For the children of that person, it's no different. But the way that we look at it is different. I think that's kind of an aspect I hope people notice about it, that there is something about, like, you're being asked to ask that question about, like, does the fact that everyone never let him forgot about how his dad died, should that change the way he feels? And because, it's a real thing, because to him, it's a personal tragedy.
Right.
It's something that he will never get over. And that there's something really beautiful about being able to tell that story.
Sure.
And not make it about, this extremely famous, horrible thing in our history.
Right,
but
right.
just about this family.
Right. I think that's actually a really smart choice. Like, because
we never wanted to make it about 9/11 porn, which people do that.
Yeah.
It was always really important that we
because then politics gets involved. I mean, not politics, but like just like it becomes like more social commentary. But if you like more people can relate to it too if it's just like about a normal firefighter a little bit. You know what I mean? Not to say that like Pete's unrelated. I mean, it's just so tragic.
But yeah. I mean, it's just there was something to me really interesting about that, of saying that like, is there something weird about just taking that aspect out of it, and like, is he? I guess the question is like, what is he not allowed to be traumatized because you never heard of this tragedy?
Right.
Like I think there's a specific kind of interesting thing there that we didn't really spell out.
Right.
It's just kind of something you might come away thinking about it as. Especially, it's one of those things where after the movie you're thinking about it, you're like, yeah, that is kind of weird. That I think of it differently when I think of like a famous tragedy than just a personal family.
100%. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And there's. Like I know him really well, so like I was able to, so then what we did was we sort of first we talked about a lot of what his childhood was like and like what he wanted and his mother. A big part of it is about his family, his whole family, his mom, and how she never dated ever again after that death. Which is and I know his mother very well, and it's like you don't really know why. It's like she was she wasn't an old woman. She was a young she was a pretty young mom. There's no reason why. Just for some reason she just kind of put that part of herself aside, and that movie's about that, really, about that aspect.
Who plays his mom in the movie?
Marissa Tomei.
Oh wow, that's awesome. She's great.
She's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
she's so like the amount that she's like is something. It's really beautiful watching an actor like that be able to take
still hot.
Wrote, yeah, mid-50s, still beautiful,
still fucking hot.
Yeah, that she could take
her and Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, Maroon.
Yeah, like you give her something and like she can like good actors, they make something new out of that.
Sure,
they do so much. Same with Bill. Like they're really thinking about this. They're not just comics rattling shit off.
Yeah.
So I mean, it really was amazing getting to like write and like
I'm just excited to see Bill Burr's mustache.
Oh my god, I remember like when he first brought the mustache in, I was like, maybe we should thin that out. Make it more of like a hipster mustache. And I'll tell you, Bill was like, nope, no way. I put a lot of work into this. The whole thing's staying. Because he grew like a whole giant beard and then shaved just the mustache. So he looked fucking crazy.
I saw it at Skankfest. I was like, that's Bill Burr. I didn't even recognize him.
He looks like the character basis of Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, he does. He looks so southern.
I wrote so many you look like jokes
that
did not make it in. I mean, so you look like a bartender on Sesame Street. They were just, I had to rattle off endless Bill Burr mustache jokes. He looks like someone drew a mustache on a hard-boiled egg.
Fuck yeah.
It was really.
That's so sick.
You look like a strong man. You look like a 20 strong man who recently broke his neck. Like he looks so funny.
Yeah.
But it's funny. He looks so funny until he's in the fireman outfit.
Right.
Then he looks badass.
Then he looks just like.
Yeah. Then he's just like he looks really badass. You're like, oh yeah, he totally works now.
He knows what he's doing. This Bill.
That's why it was so cool having Steve Buscemi in it, because he is a real fireman.
Yeah, he was a real 9/11.
He was there.
Yeah.
And he was playing one of the firemen.
And he
so
never advertises it or talks about it. It's so funny. They try to get him to talk about it. And he's like, no. It's really cool.
Yeah. No. It was really an honor to get to just sit around with Steve Buscemi and kid around.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one quick story.
Yeah, please.
Bill told this on his podcast, so now I get to tell a story. I was also there,
Rashomon style.
He didn't give me credit for something.
Yeah.
Bill didn't give me credit for this, but I'll call him out for that. We were watching Back to School.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the actors were hanging out after the film wrapped. Damn. And we're watching Back
This sounds like so much fun.
Oh my god.
This entire experience.
Yeah, it was just, I did not deserve any of this. So we're watching Back to School. You've seen Back to School.
Of course. It's my dad's favorite movie.
Right. So I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And we're watching it. I've seen it a bunch of times when I was a kid. The very end of this movie, the Rodney Dangerfield movie, you notice that Burt Young, who is Paulie from Rocky,
right.
He plays the bodyguard / driver of Rodney Dangerfield. And in the early part of the second act of this movie, Rodney and Burt Young are at a bar, and there are these two freshmen that they're just having drinks with. And they don't even speak. There's nothing happening. Just like, oh, girls, come here, have a drink with us. That's it. And I know you feel like you need to do your Rodney now.
Have to. Oh, I got to get it out.
So they're sitting with, and then Rodney sings Great Balls of Fire, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that scene. The very end of this movie, after Rodney does the triple Linden, you see Burt Young come running to Rodney to congratulate him that he just won the big diving competition. And as he's running, you realize he's holding hands with the freshman from that bar an hour ago. And you realize there was a whole subplot they cut of this 60-year-old man fucking this college freshman that even in 1986 they were like, yeah, we got to cut this whole thing.
Yeah.
And Bill brought that up, being like, could you imagine they did that today? All the triggered people over that relationship. And you didn't give me credit because I was the one who was like, wait, pause the fucking movie. Back that up. And we backed it up and was like, everyone watch Burr Young. And it was just, I was so proud of myself because I'm sitting next to Buscemi.
Yeah.
And I had that moment of Buscemi looking at me laughing like, oh my God, he's fucking her. And I was like, oh, I feel so cool right now.
That is awesome. To be the funniest.
God, I wanted Bill to give me credit.
Dude, to be the funniest guy in the room though with Bill Burr.
Just that 1 second.
Yeah.
I had that one moment of like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Burr Young is fucking that 18-year-old girl. What the fuck?
It's like JFK, the movie. There had to be a second sperm shooter.
And it's just so funny because then you watch the movie, you're like, oh, yeah, they totally had a subplot they cut. And then at the very end of the movie, when he's giving the speech to all the kids, and he's like, and you see there's a scene that looks very odd, and you clearly realize the reason it looks odd is because they cut the frame differently than it was supposed to be cut to get her out of it. You can see him holding hands with like with someone off screen.
Right.
Oh my God, they had to get rid of her so that people didn't notice they had this 60-year-old man fucking this kid half the movie.
Oh my God. Fuck yeah. Damn, that's great. The 80s were such a different fucking time, man.
Oh my
totally.
God.
But it's so funny. I mean, I'm just repeating what you just said, but even at the time, they're like, this is no good. The ladies aren't going to like this.
That's a bit much.
Yeah, Kurt Vonnegut's not going to like this.
Yeah, people are...
What if Kurt made them cut it?
Yeah.
He's like, if I'm going to be in this, you got to cut the thing about the...
That's so funny.
Yeah.
When I first saw the movie, I had no idea who Kurt Vonnegut was. Then I ended up reading a bunch of his stuff.
Yeah, it's like his only film or TV appearance in Back to School.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
It really is great. And because, like, you're like, it's funny because in the movie, you're like, oh, this writer, he said, fuck you. He's a great writer.
Oh, my God. Oh, how naughty. Oh, boy, I love Catch 22. I didn't write that one.
You know, Bob Saget was originally supposed to be the Sam Kinison part.
Really?
But they were like, when you think about that, you're like, yeah, you need a screaming lunatic for that part.
God, that is the most 80s cast ever.
And that made his career.
Sam Kinison?
That was Sam's big break.
Oh, really? I always thought of Sam as a guy who just got famous from stand-up. I didn't realize it was because of that movie.
I mean, no, I think that movie had a big part of what made him famous.
Really? I guess that makes sense.
Before we get out of here, it's a great story. Do you know the story of Atuk?
No. Oh, that cursed movie? Yeah.
So, you know, like, first it was going to be first it was going to be John Belushi, and then he died. Then it was going to be John Candy. Oh, no, then it was going to be Sam Kinison, and he died.
Yeah.
Then it was going to be John Candy.
Yeah.
So here's having worked on a movie makes this story so much funnier to me now. So Sam Kinison was cast to be the star of this, like, Eskimo movie.
Sure.
He showed up on the first day of filming with a new handwritten script. Like a script that him and his friends that were just covered in red marks and like rewrites that he handed in the day of filming. Now, when you're a star of a movie like that, you do get a lot of like say about the script.
Yeah.
But not when you bring it the day filming
Right, the
starts.
day. Yeah, it's like, hey guys.
And he ended up getting fired from this movie a few days later in a like high school auditorium on like a folding table, dressed in full Eskimo gear.
Oh my God.
They were just like, nope, not going to work.
To walk home.
We are not going to deal with you.
Return the Eskimo gear,
set.
please.
I thought that was
That's
the
amazing.
craziest thing.
I have a few more questions about the movie too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, what was so did you guys write the draft and then Judd would like do a pass on it or something and then go back
The
and
three
forth?
of us started just talking.
Uh-huh.
Basically, what we did was the three of us just started talking, started really examining and figuring out what. And then Judd would take like all these different like ideas and be like, okay, this is the one I think should be the through line. This is where I think the plot is going to go.
Wow. And
then basically Pete and I would write a draft or an act, and then Judd would take that act and say, okay, and then rewrite that. And
right.
then we would and then send it back and then be like, all right, well, here's what I agree with, here's what I don't agree with. And then you go all of us with the producer, we just look at the script, like, all right, we're looking at it on a big screen, like a projector, and being like, all right, well, here's what we're keeping, here's what we're changing, and then just basically like I said, I basically write a script. He looks at that script. He writes a new script off that. Some parts are completely different. Some parts are the same. And then you just kind of go that process back and forth until you really feel happy with it.
Right.
And then you have like all these like much more talented than me, like known screenwriters looking at it and be like, here's what I think this needs.
Oh, wow.
Here's what you should do. I mean, it's
Wow.
Judd, so he can just get anybody.
Right.
He's getting like,
Hey, Aaron Sorkin, can you take a look at this?
I mean, guys on that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
That's
literally
crazy.
guys like that good, that guys showrunners of the biggest sitcoms ever are just like sitting around just looking at your jokes.
That must be kind of wild for you because this is your first big movie writing credit, right?
First movie, yeah.
First movie,
Only
but you're
done
with
TV.
the guy. That is
Yeah,
so
I got
crazy.
to leapfrog so much.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
amount
yeah.
of luck involved in the situation is staggering. It is ridiculous. I mean,
You deserve it, man. You're a really good writer.
well, thanks.
I mean,
it's
like,
just, I try.
You're
but
the
it's
guy for me, on a
I'm more of a
personal.
joke writer than anything else. I
Yeah.
had to learn like a new kind of writing. Like I was never a guy into like that much of an emotional story.
Sure.
I was never that guy. And I had to really, and we had to, that's where we had to go with this. And like when I watched the movie and I, obviously as a comic, the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm keeping score of how many lines are mine,
Yep.
how
Yep.
many jokes are
Yep.
mine, how
I
my
feel
jokes
you.
are doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like it's cool to be also like, some things aren't jokes. They're just meant to like,
That's
make
so
you feel
hard.
something.
That's a comic's problem in
yeah,
the scripts.
I don't feel anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm numb.
Yeah, like there's lines that like I was really like I was actually able to be proud of, especially when like everyone thinks of me as the one who is like a robot.
Sure.
Everyone thinks of me as the emotionless one.
Right.
But when you hang out with Pete Davidson, everyone's emotionless.
Yeah. That guy. Wow. Yeah. You guys are the yin and the yang.
Yeah, no, like exactly. I am such like the
Yeah.
what I guess like
You
the
are
Felix.
like kind of the opposite of him. You're very like neutral.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's funny. I think that's why it works so well.
Probably.
But at the same time, we're extremely similar
Yeah.
in a lot of ways people don't see.
That's amazing.
Like the way we write jokes, what we think is funny.
Yeah.
The way our personalities are oddly similar for how completely different we are to
I actually wanted to ask, like, what do you guys have in common that like you think really bonds you?
I mean, it's like Stephen Colbert and Paul Dinello
Sure.
are an example of like writing partners who are opposite people. And no, I think he's often said like that we're very the same because there's just a lot of like little things that like only he and I would say in certain situations.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like we've picked up on that. Like we're just oddly similar.
You guys have like
in
the
how
same
we-
talk, the way you talk and things.
Yeah, a little bit. Like the way that we react to certain things.
It's
the
kind of like
way
Will
that
Ferrell,
we-
Adam McKay a little bit.
Yeah, we just often find ourselves just kind of agreeing on what's funny and like what is bullshit, and like we just I don't know what it is. We're both very like I think we're both in a lot of ways very introverted in some ways and not in others.
I can't tell if
It's
Pete's
hard.
introverted. Yeah,
It's hard to call anyone who's a comic introverted, but in ways we're both people who like don't want to be like we're both people who really don't want to be at like an industry party.
Right.
We both
really
hated the after parties. at
Really?
SNL. For me, it was just 3 more hours of work.
Oh, really? Why? How do you figure it? Just because you like?
Well, I hated SNL
Okay.
partially, but also because at SNL the after party is still you're just at a restaurant with your coworkers.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time like kind of figuring out the coworker because I like, not to rehash it, but like a month, even just like on a personal level, like I got really drunk at the stand and was around a bunch of like comics and like one executive, and I was like really dumb and drunk and said some dumb shit, and I have to realize like, oh shit, it is like your coworkers on some level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a comedy party when you're a struggling comic. It's like every word I say could ruin my life.
Yeah.
Everyone here is judging me. Every comic is desperate to needle the littlest thing you say and use it against you to get points for themselves.
Yeah.
Like-
I'm sure an SNL after parties like that on a crazy level. Yeah, like a huge magnified
Well, I
level.
mean, for me, it was more like I don't want to be around these people at any capacity.
Really?
So
Did you not get along with the other writers?
It's
or?
not that I didn't get along. It wasn't a good place for me, and they just didn't like what I was writing.
Oh, really?
They liked my updates, and for the amount of stuff I got on the air, I got a lot on the air for someone who felt like I never had any sketches. Like they never liked the sketches I wrote. I was always writing lots and lots of stuff for like the cold opens, the political sketches, writing lots of jokes for those.
Right.
And they loved the updates that they actually, they wanted me to continue writing, but they just, I just wasn't it's very, look, it's the kind of place you're either in or out.
Right.
And I wasn't one of the people who was in.
Oof, that sounds really
And,
brutal.
There's a lot you could get into about why and how and what mistakes I could have made or whatever, but it just
Sometimes you just don't fit in, or
Yeah.
something that just doesn't work with,
and that's a lot of people there. That's half the new writers.
Yeah.
Some people have a worse time than others.
Yeah.
A lot
I
of
feel
people.
bad for those guest writers they bring in for like 2
Yeah.
weeks or whatever, because it's like, how are you gonna make an impression in 2 weeks?
Yeah, and there's also just the idea that like, you're trying to like write with other people, but you have to co-write with other people, but maybe they already have their dynamic worked out, and if you have to write with other people but they don't have to write with you, you may end up in a situation where it's like, well, there's no one for me to write with. I don't know what I can do except just try to rattle. It's a very difficult situation when no one has any motivation to be on your side.
Right. Oh, God, that's so brutal though. That's cutthroat. That environment, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was a really unhealthy environment in general. That's why I like working at Triumph right afterward. I was working there a few weeks after SNL ended.
That's great.
Before I was fired.
Did SNL help you get into
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I
I
got through my agent, and I got my agent once I got SNL. So on that
Got it.
level, yes, but it wasn't like through it. But that was that was just so great to be like, oh, I'm in another writing room where suddenly I'm good and people think I'm funny and
Right.
it's going well and I'm being told how good a job I'm doing, and
That's great.
I went from being just a guy sending stuff in to one of like to being like the main guy who like travels with the dog, and,
Right.
one of those guys. So that was a very good experience to know that, okay, good, it is just SNL,
Yeah. Well,
which is what people say.
I was listening. Yeah, I mean that's what they all warn you about. But then it's like I'm still like every single person I listen to that talks about SNL is like, yeah, it's the worst place or it's like really hard. But I'm still like, I'd still kill someone to fucking write on
Yeah,
that
I mean, look,
show.
it's not like I didn't get things out of it. It's worth it for what you get, but it is hell for
Yeah.
some people. And I remember like Taron Killam doing an interview because his last year was my only year.
Yeah, Jay
And-
Farrow too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Jay and Taron, two people I was good friends with there.
Yeah, they're both
amazing-
great.
Both really,
Taron's
really
like,
great guys.
I thought he was gonna be like an all timer. He's like so great.
we all did.
Yeah.
Taron was amazing. Him getting fired.
Did they
was-
fire him?
I don't know what the exact. I can't say I know for sure. If it
That
was,
sucks for Jay Farrow. Like the minute Obama's out of office, like, all right, you're out of here.
Yeah.
That's so sad. That's
But also, he didn't do Obama that whole last year.
really
I don't think we had Obama once.
okay.
I wrote an Obama one, but never. Yeah, we never did. Cause we were
I
busy
guess it
with
was already an
primaries.
election year. Yeah.
And I remember Taron said in an interview with Seth Meyers that he thought that year was the most toxic year
Really?
of the 7 years he was there.
Wow. Why? Do you know? Or from your experience?
I will say that other people said that it was the most closed doors
Mm-hmm.
they've ever seen in that office.
Right.
People closed off to each other. People not. Like, it's hard to explain without really getting into a lot of detail that
Sure.
I probably shouldn't. But it was a place where like it seemed like very early on, if you either figured out a dynamic of who you were going to write with or you didn't.
Right.
And then it does feel like, I would say one thing about the place that I really think they should have done. I really think that at some point, any point, we should have been evaluating sketches without seeing the names of the people who wrote them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because every time a sketch is read, it's for the entire staff,
Yeah.
and they judge it by how it does,
Mm-hmm.
and the name is at the top.
Right.
And there have been cases of people taking their names off of things before because they thought, if my name's not on this, it'll get on. Not me, but I know of other cases.
I completely believe
and
that.
I was,
yeah.
and at one point I considered that, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because then if I get it on, everyone's going to say that what do you hate being here or something. It was just one of those things where I was like, and I didn't want to believe that was why.
Right.
And I don't think it was why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was one of those things where it was like, people say that with new writers, like, oh, just leave your name off it, because then they'll definitely put it on. But when it's a new writer,
Right.
it has to be that much better.
So you think that when you put a sketch on there because you're a new writer, maybe they had their arms folded a little bit?
I don't think it's just because I'm a new writer. I think there were a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
Yeah.
I think that eventually, even if I had a sketch that did well, it still wouldn't get on
Sure.
for reasons that I can't really explain. Only that, like I said, I had different people who were at higher levels of authority in the show saying things to me like, listen, I don't know why they keep cutting yours, or that, this has been a worse year than usual in terms of people collaborating. I even came to understand that things changed a little bit the
Right.
following year
Yeah.
in terms of how collaboration was organized,
Interesting.
as it wasn't just random anymore.
Right.
And But yeah, I had multiple different people giving various sort of explanations / apologies for how the process worked.
Interesting.
The people who are like my supervisors.
Right.
Basically saying like, you did a better job than you were treated like.
Yeah. That sucks, man. That's tough when you just get like a rough go of it like that. Especially
it just didn't work.
But I mean, Triumph is an awesome. I mean, that is so great.
And to be fair,
that's as much a childhood dream to me. Like I love Triumph growing up.
Yeah, and part of the difference there is, I was a huge fan of Triumph.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge SNL fan.
Right.
For years, I only watched SNL for Robert Smigel.
Right. Yeah.
For the TV Funhouse stuff.
Yeah, that shit's great.
It was just, and it was funny. Like everyone there, when I would see them and be like, I'm a Triumph, they were always just like, oh, that is perfect for you. It was really funny how everyone was just like, that's where you should be.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, I know,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a better fit.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Lauren a lot?
I never spoke to Lauren.
Really?
Lauren spoke to me once. Like the very last thing I had on the air was the first time that he told me directly what the changes would be, as opposed to telling another person of authority.
Like
to
what
tell
what did he say to you?
No, it was just like, you know what? I think it's confusing to see the cue card behind him. Why don't we just get rid of the cue card and just find a different reason for why they're standing up?
Got it.
That was just,
just simple.
Yeah. But like it was like some,
I thought there was gonna be like a emotional.
Not everyone who works there ever speaks to Lauren.
Really?
Some people. This is a real thing. Some people will work there for a year, like a writer, and never actually interact with him.
Really?
He's busy. He's really running the show.
Right.
But I never had any specific.
Does he have
problem
table
with Lauren.
reads?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. He reads all the stage direction.
Yeah. I've read that he reads really slowly, so people like have no stage directions in their sketches.
That's funny. I never noticed that. But yeah, he's fine. I remember my first sketch. It was the stage direction was way too flowery.
Oh yeah.
I think I used the word decrepitude.
Oh yeah, that's no good.
Sketch.
Decrepitude.
I described someone as being in an advanced stage of decrepitude.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it was some elderly. It was a sketch. It was one of the Pete's that I wrote with him about waiters who were using hoverboards, like an old Italian restaurant trying to use hoverboards to get kids in.
That's hilarious.
And like having like an extreme elderly man trying to use a hover, and we were gonna have John Rudnitsky in like old makeup, like wipe out on a hoverboard.
So when you do the updates now, do you go in to help write, or do you?
Well, I mean, the writing we won't do there.
Okay.
But usually when those, I'll come in and I'll be on set, because obviously.
Is that weird for you, like coming back to like a high school you graduated from? Or?
Yeah, it's always weird. The first year of me coming back, because I didn't come back for almost the entire year after, but I was still writing, co-writing those updates, and then I started doing it more and more until it was basically back to the same, where we're co-writing almost everything except the Mulaney ones. Those write themselves.
Yeah,
I don't need to. They don't need me at all. For
and
those.
then I saw Pete at the doctor's office where I was getting my AIDS test.
So we were watching The Mule.
The Mule. And Clint Eastwood, get this. Those are great.
Yeah. Where Andy Garcia was rude to me.
He's kind of like John Lovitz.
I love
He's got a little Lovitz
so
in it.
much. He's so funny.
Have you met Mulaney?
Oh, many times.
Oh, is he a good guy?
Oh, he's so awesome.
He's having a moment.
Such a nice guy. Deserves everything he gets.
That's awesome to hear.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
No, he's the best. But yes, I would go in and for the first year.
John Marco does a great
Yeah,
Mulaney.
he does.
Isn't it? It's uncanny.
Yeah, he really was. Pete was like freaking out about how good it was.
Really?
Actually. I told John Marco, I was like, Pete was like, that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, great.
But yeah, I would walk around with my hoodie completely covering my face for several months.
Yeah.
Every time I had to go in and help with an update.
Wow.
But that's also how I was the last several weeks of when I was working there.
Yeah.
I was just skulking around the hallways like the Grim Reaper with my trying not to make eye contact with anyone.
That sounds so
Once it was like
so
a
raw
conclusion. But then it was like, but now, like I was there, the last time he did an update feature. And actually, no, not even that one. I was there a couple weeks ago hanging out, just with Pete, and this time we did go to the after party for a minute, 'cause I wanted to get in a quick gloat.
Yeah. Hey, guess who's right
now?
Yeah,
just
what'd they say? Were they like?
That was nice. No one was ever mean to me.
Yeah.
They just excluded me from the writing process.
That's cool. That it's almost like you got hot after high school, and now you're back.
Which I did.
Yeah.
Very unpopular in high school.
As was I. Don't. Yeah.
Which is what was so amazing about SNL. It was like, wow, I really thought high school was over.
Damn, your high school reunion is gonna be lit. Guess what I'm doing, guys?
Unfortunately, it already happened.
Yeah. Fuck.
I did look good at it at least, and then I skipped the other one.
Yeah. Next one though.
No, the last one I was busy because that was when I really could have gone and been like, so what are you assholes up to?
Yeah. At a certain point, you kind of just forget. So how was the after party this time? So what are the after parties like? I'm actually
It's just
very
a
curious.
restaurant.
Yeah.
It's not even like free. It's just like a bunch of people at the same restaurant.
You guys split the bill?
No, it's like hundreds of people. Like
Oh.
they just empty out a restaurant and we just have that restaurant.
It's not even a bar?
Well, it's a bar too, but it's like
Are people getting fucked up, or is it like a...
everyone's hanging out, people having fun. If you drink, you drink. People having it's all like tables of whoever's friends.
Got it.
So it would just be like me, Pete, and our friends.
Okay.
It was like I never you go to the bar, you say hi to people, and there's definitely people I love that are still there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just like that's why I was like I didn't need to be here. It's just
What restaurant and what time?
it's always different. But there are definitely people at SNL I still love. I mean, like Dennis. You ever see The Ladies Man?
Yeah.
The writer of that movie is one of the heads of Update.
Oh.
I love him. He's great.
That's awesome.
He's a comic book nerd. We always
Did you ever write with Jim Downey? I don't know if he was there.
No,
ever.
Jim Downey wasn't there.
Okay.
I remember he had a sketch. He had one episode that he wrote for, and then me and him kind of had opposite sketches.
Oh.
Like this is what happened. So it looked like a fuck you, and it wasn't. It was just a coincidence. We both basically had a sketch about this news story that was something along the lines of like Arab immigrants in like Nordic countries being accused of like ruining those countries.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim had a sketch that was essentially like a typical sketch of like guys trying to be explained how to like not commit sex crimes, and the guys are just like, so when do we rape them? Like that kind of sketch. And then I had a sketch that was almost like the exact opposite, which was another sketch I really thought was going to make it to the air. Because it was like, you're writing it, everyone's laughing,
Yeah.
the host is laughing, and then you put it on, and then you have the read-through, and then like no one laughs.
Oh.
Okay.
That sucks.
Yeah, and then
Oof,
like
that sounds
and
brutal.
that's why I felt like personal.
Yeah.
Because it was like everyone else I showed this to is laughing.
Yeah.
The intern is laughing.
Yeah.
You
You guys liked this last night.
yeah, like everyone I show it, you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
supervisor was like, "Oh, this is great," like change this and you're perfect, And I had a sketch that was supposed to be Larry David hosting a game show called, and it was about like where it was refugees, also about refugees. But this was refugees in a game show who would be shown a scenario that an American complained about and try to figure out what their problem was.
Yeah.
So like they show a picture of a family at an Olive Garden.
Oh, that's funny.
And the first person goes, Amelie from Kinshasa, like, from the Kinshasa killing fields. What do you think? He goes, they could not pay for the meal, so their family was executed. No. Next, it was human meat they were being fed, right? No. Next one. They were mad that Olive Garden says is conventional Italian, but is in fact just fast food. No, you're closer. If you look closely, you can see that the breadsticks basket there is almost empty, and they paid for endless breadsticks. And yes, which led to the Yelp review with multiple N-words. Next, it was like that sort of.
That's great. That I feel like that's something I could totally see on the air.
Not if I wrote it.
Yeah. Should have just given it to Pete.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, no. He was part of my sketches too.
Oh yeah.
That didn't help them.
Oh no.
I'm just saying it didn't. Even with that, like
right.
But at the same time, I have no problem being like, hey, I wrote a lot of the jokes that were in like the debates.
Yeah, that's
stuff
awesome.
Like that. Like I was.
Yeah, I got one joke on Colbert, and I still bring it up.
Yeah,
it's been like 8 years,
that's awesome.
6 years or whatever.
That's a big deal, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
But yeah, so like I would. And like I remember like I had one joke where I got Larry to laugh, but only because it was like using Yiddish.
Yeah.
So only we got it.
Yeah.
The line was like, "It's Larry, it's Bernie."
Hey,
Sanders.
that's the best guy. That's the best guy to make laugh though.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders goes, He's like, I don't need big donations. All you have to do is take your vacuum cleaner, empty it out, and send me the pennies, which was already the line. And I added, you know what? You can keep your nickels. I'm not a chasa, which means like greedy hog in Yiddish.
That's funny.
And he laughed so hard.
Really?
And nobody else did.
That's awesome. That's
I
so
was
great.
so proud of myself.
I love how Jewish Larry is. That's
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
And then, of course, years later, I would hang out at Larry's house every day.
Yeah.
Because Pete was his daughter's boyfriend.
Oh yeah, Cassie David. God, she's so fucking hot.
yeah.
She went to Emerson.
Oh, you know her.
I did not know her,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
but
Oh, she's beautiful.
She went there like right after I
Very
went there.
funny.
Yeah.
Have you seen her show?
No,
She has,
my sister likes it though.
yeah, no,
Another
she-
thing my sister likes.
Yeah, I was so proud of her. Very brilliant comic.
That's all.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine having to be like Larry David's daughter and writing comedy and
Sounds great.
that immediate like comparison?
Yeah, I'd still trade places.
Yeah.
In about a second. Actually, not even a second.
Yeah.
How is Pete doing these days, by the way?
Hey, look, Pete's doing good, but it's, his struggles that have been public are, there's nothing fake about them.
Mhm.
He is a guy who deals with a lot. Being that famous and having that background and having, those issues that he has, which he's been very open about, about dealing with mental illness his whole life, it's not easy. And he's not the only person in my life with those kinds of problems.
Yeah, it's a big thing in comedy in general.
There are other people I'm very close with who have very similar problems. So it's unique to me because I don't see it. I'm used to, being close with people who are in pain. More so than like one might expect, and that's what you deal with. But he's been very he's been very strong with a lot of that stuff, and it's really I'm proud of him because I don't have that. I don't have that time bomb in my head that like a lot of my friends have.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Neither
for
do I,
no
thank
reason
God.
things are going to be bad. Things
Yeah.
they're going to feel really bad and they're going to feel hopeless. And that's like I said, that's other people in my life that I love very much that I have to try to be there for. Also, it's a lot. I mean, it's so easy for people to say because I'm like my grandmother will say something like, "How could someone be depressed when they're rich?"
Yeah.
It's like it's not that simple.
Yeah, you think he's a guy you think has it all. He's like famous, young, fucking the beautiful woman in the world, and yeah, it's just some people not wired correctly.
I mean, yeah, it's just it's unlucky, and then part of it's comedy, the same electricity in your brain. I'm not trying to be metaphorical. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
when the people who have high electricity content in that part of their brain,
Yeah.
the creativity and depression are the same part.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have overactive both.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
very common for that.
Yeah.
and
I'm
just-
glad I'm more anxious than depressed. I would say is
Yeah.
more my
Yes, I would
my
say that.
issue. Yeah.
Yes, you are. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I have my own problems. But I just never had to deal with anything like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
And no, we want him to be okay.
Yeah.
And,
Definitely.
it's very nice seeing him happy too.
Has he been happier lately? Or
Yeah,
That's good.
I'd say so. It's not. It's very hard to explain. It's because I don't want to give away too much about him personally, but these are all things that he's open about.
Mhm.
So he's been he feels things.
Sure.
He feels things a lot.
Right.
And that's part of everyone I know with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And when I've had problems, it just like you have more of a capacity. You're more vulnerable, and he's a very vulnerable person.
Sure.
And that's part of why his comedy works.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's doing good, and hopefully, the important thing is not everyone with these kinds of problems acknowledges them
Yeah.
and wants to work to make them better.
Sure.
Which that's the most important thing about him.
Right.
He's aware that he is dealing with something that is unfair and is in his head.
Yeah.
And he wants to be better. And that's I think the main thing.
Is he medicated in treatment and stuff like that, or?
I don't really get into that side of things.
Sure. I'm just
With
curious.
him.
Yeah.
I know that he's tried a lot of things, and
Yeah.
and he is certainly he's been very proactive with his mental health, which is important.
That's good. Yeah.
But and which part of that is trying different things, trying
Yeah.
different therapies. So he works very hard at that.
That's good. Well, tell him I love his Bada Bing tattoo.
Oh yeah, well, he loves The Sopranos.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He's got both the Bada Bing.
Is he Italian?
A little bit.
Okay.
He thought he was more Italian than he was.
He seems a little Italian.
Then when we found out
I
he
thought
was
he was
actually
black.
way more Jewish than Italian and Irish more than anything. I think he's
Really?
half Irish, and then his other side is mostly Jewish, some Italian. Yeah, a lot of people. I had a roommate, a black woman roommate, who could not believe when I told her he's 100% white.
I thought he was black when he first came on the scene, for sure. When I first saw his Jimmy Kimmel set, I was like, oh, who's this black kid?
Yeah, he was wearing like a Bill Cosby sweater.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when his hair is short,
yeah,
he looks crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's more indicative, and it's funny because like,
what's up, yo?
He's not black at all because he looks identical to his Jewish grandfather. Looks exactly the same.
Wow.
So yeah, he's white. It's just one of those weird coincidences that he had like those lips and that nose, and it just kind of all came together.
Works in his favor these days in entertainment.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, he could have, for all he could have been one of these guys who like just lied and said he was biracial all these years if he wanted to. And,
God damn.
And just gotten all these parts.
Yeah. Yeah, he could even pull the "so I'm Muslim." Could
you imagine? Could you imagine? Like he just lied, and he ended up being like the Stanfield part and Get Out. He ended up being like the.
He's the Dolezal of entertainment.
Like imagine how
he could have done it.
Imagine how much of a scandal that would be if like he was one of SNL's diversity hires.
Trump would have tweeted about it for sure. Lying Pete.
I had a sketch my second week there that did not get on the air, which I feel like I don't have to say that since none of them did. But where he said I wanted to do a sketch of a backstage, which we hadn't done in a while.
Yeah.
For Tracy Morgan's episode, where Pete's trying to tell Tracy, but he doesn't give him a chance to speak. Where Tracy's talking about how happy it is all these new black cast members.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the black cast members being like, where he says like, why didn't someone tell him I was white? And like I want to have Sashir be like, we didn't know if you knew. When I met you, you were wearing a Tommy Gear do-rag.
That's good. That's funny, yeah, because I mean, yeah, that's because he's like a hype beast too. Like he's in the hip hop culture. Yeah.
Yes, he loves his nice clothes.
Yeah.
Another thing we don't have in common.
Yeah. Yeah. On paper, you guys don't seem
it's
like
so
you
funny.
would. Yeah. Jive.
It's really funny how many ways we are not alike.
Yeah.
Considering all the ways that like we are when it comes to like what matters in like writing.
Right.
And like comedy.
Yeah.
Like our sensibility in comedy is very, very close.
For sure.
We like all the same things.
Right. What do you guys like? Like, what are your favorite shit that you guys
American
like?
Dad.
Yes. American Dad's great.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And like really, really especially bad movies. Or like there's very few comedies we like.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sort of we both love all the same like we more love dramas, like crime dramas and stuff. True crime stuff.
I get along great with Pete.
Yeah, no,
that's all good stuff.
It's funny how many times I'll say something insane and he'll be like, "God, we're the same person."
God,
were you thinking that? Jesus. We both say like, we're both the kind of people that just think of like, the most fucked up joke in a situation, but to a lot of people like us.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, because he thinks that I'm weirdly cheap because I don't spend money like a dying French king. Because he's got the money.
Pete, your bank account, Pete, you can't not everyone's up to that.
I have many times explained to him the story of the ant and the grasshopper.
Yeah.
That's going to be how I was like, I'm going to end up supporting you, right? Like, it's going to, the day is going to come.
Pete's like an athlete that like runs out of money.
I mean, he's not like
30 for 30 broke starring Pete Davidson.
Yeah, like he's not that kind of bad, but it is funny just to like make those jokes when it's like,
no, that's good.
Because he loves wearing like, he knows fashions. I didn't know what Balenciaga was.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a clothing brand.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
What's he onto? What should I keep the lookout onto? I'll keep a lookout for Balenciaga.
It's all pops and buzzes to me.
Yeah,
it's all white noise when they talk, because everyone else,
or
in
Pete's case, half black noise.
Yeah, it's all off-white noise. It's
ambiguous noise.
Yeah, I think. I literally could not tell you what he's, because like I just tune that stuff out because we'll go to like shopping and it's like I'm not buying a $600 shirt. You know that.
Yeah. Just a few more questions and I'll let you get out of here. You did a show with the Mooch.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh yeah, the Mooch. It's funny how like it was like this Triumph Jeopardy thing we did, and it's just watching Scaramucci just tooth and nail hold on to fame.
Yeah,
because that's what we wanted him. We wanted like a punching bag to like
My friend was in the audience and she was like, he kind of killed. He was
yeah,
kind of good.
Well, when someone like that is willing to make themselves the joke,
just playing ball.
It's just like Ann Coulter what she could have done.
She could have done
when
that.
she did that Rob Lowe roast.
Did
but
you hear that
blew
she?
I was there. Yeah.
You were there.
Well, I wrote for Pete on that.
Oh.
So I knew the whole story about how she refused.
So yeah, what
to let me-
happened? Yeah, so she just like fired all the writers.
Not fired, but like they offered her a lot of jokes that would have made the show pretty good, and she was like, "No, me and my friends have better jokes."
Just friends.
You know, guys who like fucking right-wing bloggers who think they're hilarious.
Oh no. Ugh.
And that's why I went that way. She did a couple of jokes they gave her. There were a couple of jokes that were okay, but the bad will had already been built up.
Yeah. What's it like writing for one of those Comedy Central roasts? Because we know each other through like the roast battle stuff, and I was actually curious, like, what's the difference between writing? I mean, I guess like there's a lot of difference, but like, is there any major difference for you between like writing for one of those?
I mean, not really. It's the same kind of thing. Like the first I wrote for the Bieber roast, and then I wrote for my first roast battle. It was like that, and then I did a few roast battles, and then it was the Rob Lowe roast again.
Oh, cool.
So like I was sort of starting both at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same writing as anything. You're just getting every piece of information about someone you can, and just seeing, all right, what does this lend itself to?
Sure.
Where can this go? What's wordplay? What's and it's just.
It might actually be a little easier to write for those ones where everyone knows
Of course,
everybody.
so much easier.
Yeah.
I feel like my roast battle jokes are better than my TV roast jokes.
I think it's
'cause
harder.
They have to be.
Yeah.
To work.
Yeah.
Because
the roast battle, the difference is you're introducing the other person to the crowd. Like the crowd
Yeah.
doesn't know who the other person is.
yeah, you have to like introduce this information, which also gives you the opportunity to lie about them, which
Yeah.
I don't like to do.
I don't either.
But like I hate when like people just it's a fine line because then you'll say something that's true and the audience will think that's just a setup. Like no, he really does do this.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing.
That's the hardest, I think. Yeah,
It's also just
when that
easier
happens.
when you have multiple different people you're writing for. You
Yeah.
don't have to write 50 jokes about one person.
Oh God, that is the hard. I hate
And
that.
there's nothing specific about them. You have to then create
Yeah.
what there is to make fun of them for.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like I wrote for the last roast. This last one I wrote for Triumph and Chris Red.
Oh, cool.
So that was the first time I wrote for someone other than Pete.
Oh, that's cool. Chris Red tapped you for that.
Yeah, it was cool. I actually went to him because I know him through
Oh,
SNL.
cool.
I was like, hey, you
Do you
ready?
need help? Yeah.
I said, I was like, do you want some help? You want to get into this? Because he knew that I wrote for Pete, so he was like, yeah, let's. And that was actually the cool thing about him is that like,
Cool.
he didn't
Good for
really
you
have,
for putting
he
yourself
didn't like
out there.
get a bunch of writers. He was just me and him and like one other friend of his that helped. And
Nice.
so I got a lot of leeway with what I wanted him
That's
to do,
cool.
and I was very happy with how that came out.
Yeah. I wrote for Adam Carolla on that roast.
Did you?
No. I wrote his Safe Spaces rant.
Oh man, what was so great about that? There's nothing worse than someone trying to manufacture trying to pretend that people are outraged.
Yeah.
When he's not.
Yeah, you get
it was-
Safe Space. I used to love Adam Carolla, and just that
Me
that made me
too.
cringe so much.
I know.
I was like, damn,
It
dude,
was so
stop
s-
doing that.
He was so slow, right?
Yeah.
Like-
He used to be so fast. He used to be like
Yeah.
the quickest guy.
The slowness of the way he delivered, like there was.
Yeah,
something-
that's a good point. He
something
does do
up
that.
with that.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was one of those things where it's like you have to really keep your finger on the pulse of roasting. You can't be roasting stuff that would have worked 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, the whole like you pussies, and like there just wasn't enough cleverness behind it, and there wasn't enough of an outrage. Like it's still the roast. Like no one really was.
The
looking
people
to
who
the
go
roast
to a
cancel.
roast, yeah, exactly. It was like even when Sebastian did it at the VMAs, like that makes more sense because it's like a bunch of young kids there for music. Then that's like, hey, yeah, you say. But people who go to a Comedy Central roast, that's like not. They're not going to be like that. Hopefully, I mean, ideally. So that did feel a little odd.
It's funny. The people,
And preaching to the choir a little bit
yeah,
too.
and also like when people like get mad about like roast, or they say something, we should cancel the roast. Those are always people with no connection to the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And these are I saw one person saying like, why even have a roast when like every time something happens in the news, Twitter has 100 roast jokes, and it's like, yeah, but did you read them?
Yeah.
Like those amateurs are fucking amateurs.
Yeah.
There are some really bad roast jokes and a lot of retweets by equally
And they're not
unfunny
even like
people.
roasts. They're not even. I mean, they're not really like jokes though either. They're kind of like statements or pithy remarks.
Yeah.
They're funny in the same way like a blog, a humorous blog is funny. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's not like.
it's very Andy Borowitz.
Yes. Yeah.
Gentle comedy.
Or Andy Rooney even.
Yeah.
Who did the 60 Minutes? Yeah, it's all like.
Andy Rooney.
Yeah, and it's like that. It's like it's all. Or
Why does Skittles commercials confuse me?
what's with all these people driving so fast these days?
Why do we need a Thursday?
Why do all the days end in day? God damn, it must have been so easy to get on TV in the 80s.
Oh my God. Yeah, it really was. And
Yeah.
like, not the 80s. The 80s, it was hard. In the 70s.
70s.
If you wanted to write for television,
Yeah.
all you had to do was walk into a studio. If you wanted to be a professional stand-up comedian, all you had to do was wait at the bar of the Comedy Store
Yeah.
for someone to be like, hey, we need someone right now.
Yeah. You hear those old WTFs with all those famous comics, and they're always like, "Yeah, after my first open mic, Mitzi said I was ready." It's like, what the fuck are you talking
well,
about?
do you know Stephen Allen Green?
No, I don't.
He roast battles in L.A. I know him really well.
Name rings a bell.
His name is on the store, and he was a successful '80s comic, and he's not now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stephen.
Yeah.
We're still friends, but like, yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of those ex-comedy stores. They did a big purge like
he was a
5
host
years
in
ago.
the '80s, and he was a host kind of comic. He was a crowd work guy, and he'd always say like, I worked so great in the big rooms, and it's like, well, yeah, because it's a big room in the '80s,
Right.
And like I opened for his one-man show a few years ago, which was in the belly room,
Nice.
talking about how desperate he is to get back into the real main room.
Oh my God, that is so sad.
And it's really depressing.
That is so fucking sad.
About he had years in England, and then Jerry Lewis ruined his life.
What?
Long story.
Whoa.
But it's very true.
Is that online anywhere?
I don't know. He has a script about it, but basically that he was putting together, he was a fairly successful American comic in Britain. He put together this gigantic yearly show, and then he managed to book Jerry Lewis, and then over the course of getting ready for the show, Jerry bankrupted him with demands, and then refused to go on, ruining the whole thing.
Oh my
cost
God.
him his whole career.
Oh my God. He is the real Rupert Pupkin.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a good example of he was he was addicted to it.
Yeah.
The one part of his show that's so funny, I'll tell you, is that so he's doing bad in stand-up, right?
Mhm.
He's not getting laughs anymore. He's basically said it's just not really working. Because he doesn't like to write material. He was more like I need to just be up there and just be in the moment.
Yeah, get me up there.
And that can fuck up, easily. And then he did and then he wasn't doing so great. And then he does a show and he announces to the crowd, "This is my last time doing stand-up." And he said it's his farewell performance, and he talked about the addiction of doing stand-up, of how it's like I'm addicted to it. I treat it it's like a drug. Like you laughing is like a drug to me. And then he did this bit, and it killed his goodbye performance. So then he just started doing that for his act until the other comics were like, "You gotta fucking stop doing this."
The power is so reduced. I feel like that's what Nanette's gonna get in that problem, because the big reason that special was powerful was because she quit comedy.
Yeah.
And she used it as a launching pad for a career. It's
Well,
we'll see what she does next.
I don't really know anything about Hannah Gadsby, to be honest. Was she a touring stand-up, and then she stopped doing that?
I have no idea. All I know is that she worked out Nanette at the Soho Playhouse, which is hilarious to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So what's next for you? Are you working on anything?
Got a few things that I can't really. I'm probably not supposed to reveal until they're closer. But
How exciting!
They're because God knows if they'll happen.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things I'm working on. When does this air?
Probably probably this week.
All right. Well, if it's not Thursday yet, I'm gonna be at New York Comedy Club doing a set at 9 and roast battling at 11.
Oh yeah, you and Matthew Broussard.
Yeah, the big time Matt Broussard.
That's a great main event.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's the first time it hasn't been.
He's a big star of roasting, man.
Yeah.
It'll be the first one I've had in a while where I wasn't favored.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Well, he's really good.
Yeah,
but so are you. I also think he might.
But he's a much bigger, name in roast battling.
And muscles wise.
Yes.
He's got a lot of muscles.
No, he's taller.
Yeah.
He's more lean than anything else.
Sure, that's true.
But yeah, no. So I got a couple TV shows might come out. A couple of movies might someday come out.
Mhm.
Basically, there's a lot of things I'm at that stage where you're just kind of getting a lot of things started.
Sure.
We'll see where things go.
Has your career been super? Are you waiting for the movie to come out, or is there has doing the Apatow movie helped jumpstart more things in your career, or
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because the fact that the studio's happy with it so far means that they're willing to look at future projects.
Sure.
So we're already
Is your agent's phone ringing off
talking.
the hook?
No, it's not like I'm being asked to do that much on my own.
Yeah.
Because it's more that there are things I can do, but like since Pete and I are kind of a package deal in terms of writing,
It's a great package to be
kind
in.
of busy
Yeah.
just keeping up with that.
Sure.
And then my Triumph and Smigel stuff separately. It's a lot.
Is that like a 9 to 5, that Smigel stuff?
No,
Okay.
it's more like just contributing, and it's very hectic. It's very seat of your pants kind of writing because we might have to go somewhere one day. There might be an event we're going to do. Things are happen very quickly, especially because the jokes you have to write. So
Totally.
between those, I'm pretty kind of stuck before I can like really get into my own script, which I'd like to get more into.
Oh, that's
My
cool.
own kind of stories and stuff. But no, right now it's because we have a lot of things in the air, so you don't know which ones are going to get made. So you kind
Yeah.
of have to push really hard. So we have one thing that hopefully within the next year, people will know about. That's very exciting. I'll tell you that once we're off the air.
Nice.
And there's a TV show that hopefully will come out a little bit sooner than that. And then there's just a lot of stuff we're trying to get going. And I don't know if any of that will be before the movie, which is in June.
Nice. Well, everyone get hyped for that.
Please, for the love of God,
I'm going to go see it.
Go watch it.
I think this is going to be big, man. Pete Davidson and Judd Apatow.
I need this so bad.
Dave Sirus, the three kings of comedy.
I really, really need this.
Yeah.
If you like Bill Burr, let that be that's enough. He's all over it. If you like literally anyone, if you're a big Hank Strong fan, he's in this movie.
Ricky Velez heads.
All you Moises Arias addicts out there.
Awesome,
you
dude.
Lou Wilsonites.
Does Pete Holmes make a cameo? Does he crash on anyone's couch?
No, we had a no other Pete's rule. Pete is not allowed.
Yeah, is Apatow only working with Pete's these days?
That's it.
Who's next? Pete Townsend?
That's the rule. That's the rule. You're running out of Pete's. We're going to have to move on to Peter's.
Peter.
Yeah.
How about a show with Peter? Pitch that to Pete Davidson. How about Peter Griffin Davidson?
Yeah, Peter Griffin. That's
I'm dating Ariana Grande. All right.
That was 3 girlfriends ago.
Anything else to plug? Any social media?
Yeah, Dave Sirus, which is Sirus, at Instagram and Twitter. You can I put stuff up. It's there.
Awesome.
Go. You can look up Brickstone on YouTube. Why not?
Yeah.
Go catch up with that crap.
Yeah, so you can understand the first half of this podcast.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Hey, thank you all very much for listening. Please remember to rate, subscribe, and review.
Also, hate Trump.
Also, yeah, go for that. Don't vote for Trump, guys, in 2020. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. Please, write in me. Get my name out there.
Don't write in your own name either. That is just as bad.
I got some nice DMs last week, so thanks for that. All right. Thank you, guys.